Well, it's not early at all. Ta-da! Hello, everyone. This is Norman Kochnek, full of beans. He's had no coffee, no tea. All he's had is chocolate biscuits. That's all. But he is here. We're early, guys. We should be on much, much later. But I think our guests will come on pretty quickly when they work out. We'll probably have a quiet period for a little while because people will work out that we're actually on deck. But once they realise that Chris and Pretty are here with Tobias, they're going to come running. As I constantly get a comment saying, when is Pretty coming on? Where is Chris? Why? What have you done to them, Norman? Are you jealous of them? I'm certainly jealous of Pretty's looks. I'm not jealous of Chris's looks or Tobias's looks at all because I'm the best looking man ever, I think anyway. But look, I'm afraid before we start talking about these kings, whether it's Punjab Kings or Chennai Super Kings, we have to get the monkey out of the room or the elephant out of the room or the buffalo, whatever it is. We need to talk. Well, firstly, I'm going to welcome everybody. I should do that. What am I doing? I'm going to welcome the loveliest Pretty Upala, who has been severely missed. It feels like a century since you were here last. It's been missed, Pretty. You look fantastic after Virgin Islands, Hawaii. Where else you go? Madagascar, Iceland, Timbuktu. I don't know where else you've been. You've been to so many places. All COVID-free, of course. It's been fantastic to have you here again. Chris Vernon, with his suntanned half head there after playing cricket somewhere, I believe. We'll find out more about that very shortly. Thanks for joining us, Chris. It's also great to have you back after a week hiatus or playing little games of cricket in small venues like Lord's. No, in fact, it was a magnificent thing to see you play at Lord's, Chris. And I think I did a pretty good job with the video. I think that was
good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good. It was certainly better viewing than watching you running about at the MCG. So, but no, thank you. I appreciate it.
I doubt that very much. Did you actually read I'll better go to Tobias and the doyen of doyens. We've just been on your platform, Extra Time. Look, I've got an Extra Time hat here. I've got Eyes on Cricket here. Even the colorations are good. I mean, Extra Time is slightly sexier than Eyes on Cricket, I know, but we'll get there. The reality is that I miss you all. Okay, group hug, guys. Pretend. I want you to embrace. Get your hands up. Tobias, Chris, put your hands out.
I'm not very huggable.
Pretty.
All the fan clubs will want to hug next, Norman.
Oh, all the fan clubs. Oh, but here we go. They have been all over the place. They pop up every bloody where. Every time I talk somewhere, there's a fan club somewhere. Oh, my gosh.
Well, what can you say? And I've had my hair cut now. No more hats. I'm looking a little bit sharper these days. Barbers were allowed to open on Monday. So I think when I left, there was 8 people queuing. It's been 4 or 5 months since they've been allowed to open. So everyone was desperate for a haircut and to the pub for a pint, I think it was. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
So are you back to normal there now, or is it still lockdown, or what?
No, it's still lockdown, still restrictions. I think the aim is the 20th of June or something to have some sort of no restrictions. But you know, cricket season will start. You know, we're not allowed to use pavilions. No, last week no spectators. You're not allowed to have a drink after the game. You've got to bring your own food. So. Yeah, I mean, it's at least we're playing cricket. You know, I don't think a lot of the retail shops are still open at the moment. Pubs can only serve outside. So, I mean, typical British, you know, stiff upper lip. Everyone was sat there on Monday. It snowed in some parts of England, and there were people sat in a beer garden with 4 jumpers on drinking a pint. So, I mean, is there anything more English than that? I mean, it's quite funny. The press certainly enjoyed it.
So, guys, I'm just taking a photograph, my traditional photograph that I sneak in here. Smile, guys. Smile for the cameras. Chris, big cheeky smile. Tobias' bigger smile than that. All right, that's good. That's good. That was more of a. That was it. You poke your tongue out there.
You got to mix it up.
Now,
Tobias is wearing a Chelsea hat. You can't take him too seriously.
That's true. I think it's stuck to his head. I don't think he's had it off his head for the last month. Now,
keep winning.
My crystal ball is going to make some predictions, not about cricket. One is Pretty Upala looks prettier than ever, and she's not going anywhere. If she decides to go anywhere else, she will be quarantined by me.
I'm already plotting my next getaway.
Oh, no. Where are we going now?
Somewhere in the Caribbean.
Oh, Mervyn. Oh. Chris Vernon. Now, we'll be revealing this in a minute. Predictions about his Lord's effort. I've got
I'm looking forward to this.
I've got to bring that out in a minute. But I'm looking for the fact that is the Lord's game a one-off? Is it his moment of glory come all at once? We'll have to wait and see there. What? Oh, my God. I can't believe what it's saying to me. Was it staged? Did I see a suburban ground in the background and some fake stands? There's some conjecture about that. And in the case of DeBarcis, will I have hair again? I don't. It's not a very good sign, DeBarcis. There's something. It's not giving me. There's no evidence of any hair in this. So I'm sorry. Crystal ball's not helping it. Okay. Now we will get rid of this. I should not get rid of it. We'll let Chris gloat. There was a certain viewers. If you've been watching my YouTube channel, you would have seen a video pop up today. I must say the views aren't very high at this point. I'm not going to say anything, but the views aren't as high yet. They'll get there. Of Chris Vernon. Did you vomit then? Were you vomiting then? I'm sorry. You look like I'm joking. You gave this moment of that. No. Okay. All right. The fact is, Chris Vernon had the opportunity, which I'm very proud for him. He played at the hallowed turf of St John's Wood. In fact, that is Lord's, the home of Marylebone Cricket Club, the MCC. Not only did he play cricket there, they actually stopped a crowd coming. I'm not sure why that was. I guess it was because of COVID. But his poor dad had to sit at home, couldn't watch the game. He was texting madly to me about all the results, though. Chris had the opportunity to play for MCC going south. MCC South against MCC North. And he had the opportunity to bat first. And not only did his team bat first, Chris opened the batting. Did you face the first ball of the innings?
No, I typically don't like facing first ball. You get some batsmen who like doing it. I don't mind it, but I'm happy not to. I don't know. It's just one I've always opened, and I've never been bothered by it. So, I played at a club a few years ago, and I opened the batting with a guy, and he's a left-hander too, about the same height. And scorers often ask who's taking first ball so they can write it in their book to start with. And we always used to have a deal where neither of us liked to face the first ball. So as we were walking out, we would literally say, right, I'm going that end, you're going that end. And whoever ends up at the end that the bowler bowls from faces it. The scorers used to hate it because they'd say, who's facing first ball? And we're like, well, we don't know until we get out there. So, and obviously, yeah. But no, I didn't face first ball.
I used to open the batting as well. And I used to almost demand that I face the first ball. I thought that was the free hit stage. I thought that was a rubbish ball and you could hit it for four. Anyway, yeah. But having said that, Chris opened the batting. He hit his first scoring shot, would you believe, for 6. But David Graveney, who was on last night, was quite cutting and quite sarcastic.
Yeah, I need to have a word with Graveney, don't I? I hope he's on soon.
Yeah, you're going to have his first words were, "Oh, Chris played at Lord's. It was wonderful." But wasn't the pitch towards one side? And it literally is. I think Chris could have shaken hands with the crowd. He was that close to the boundary, and he hit a 6 to that side. So I've actually, Chris, have you actually seen the notes in the slides? Have you seen there's a description of the? Go and have a look at the description. Actually, pull it up now. Can you do it on the phone?
I'm not going to pull it up now. If you're ribbing me, Norman, I'll probably just delete the video. I'll probably report it to the YouTube police if you're taking the Michael, as it were. So. I think we should just crack on and talk about the IPL.
I think it's worth reading out. I'll be doing that in a minute. I think it deserves reading out. Anyway, so Chris then hit a 6, batted fantastically, came close to his 50, then decided to hit another 6 over the long off boundary. Magnificent 53. Held his bat up high. It was video that moment. DeBarcis, are you listening?
Yeah, I'm just going through the description, Norman.
Okay.
Okay.
And so,
I think we should just get on to the cricket.
No. Then you hit a 6, held his bat up, and then decided I'm so good. I'm Rishabh Pant, and decided to sweep a ball, and got LBW 53 when he should have scored 100. No, in fact, magnificent performance. took 2 for 20 in the wicket department. I don't know how that happened, but the wicket was magnificent. The video that I put together I thought was superb. Debashes, would you like to read the description, please?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Word for word, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Here I go. Chris Vernon, a regular co-host and guest on the YouTube channel Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochenek, lived out his childhood dream to play at Lord's for the Marylebone Cricket Club on Thursday, 15th April 2021. Chris opened the batting for MCC South against MCC North. He scored 53 runs and got out leg before wicket, sweeping a leg spinner. His first scoring shot was a 6 to an extremely short boundary
Jeez.
and reached 50 with yet another 6 straight back over the bowler's head. Fellow panelist David Grabney noted that Chris should hold or demonstrate humility and should note he was not playing for sweepstations. Norman Kochenek remarked that despite it being a great achievement and also very admirable playing at Lord's, it did not match Norman's efforts on the MCG and SCG for the SCG 11.
Oh, did I write that? Oh.
I actually heard a rumor that Norman's played at both grounds a few times, and he hasn't. I think it says he's played 10 games at both. Rumor has it he hasn't scored 53 runs combined in all of them. So there we go. Can we get on to the IPL? Because
No. Keep going.
We're 11 minutes in, but let's talk about some
David Grabney also noted that the boundary would have been extremely short on one side where he hit one of his sixes. Perhaps the 6 could be reclassified as the 2, instead rendering his 50 as in fact 49.
Oh, wow.
Jealousy is a horrible trait, isn't it, Preeti? Jealousy is a horrible thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's horrible. It doesn't suit you, Norman. What do we think of today? Let's move on to
YouTube's written. YouTube written. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, he actually took 2 for 20 with the ball, and MCC South won the match, defeating MCC North. His father, Aka Barnstead Boy, was proud of his son despite being not allowed to watch him live due to the pandemic. I am sure we will not hear the end of this achievement, and it will be portrayed as the best performance in living history on his return to his media commitments on Friday.
If you hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have talked about it at all today. So to say I've been unbearable is harsh, because I wouldn't have mentioned it at all.
I thought, look, Chris, we're very proud of you. We're so glad you had some video coverage and some photographs. It was put together with great love, and we're very proud of you. So, clap a round of applause.
Don't need to clap. Thank you.
Have you got your cricket bat there somewhere?
No, they're in my car.
Because I would have got you to stand up and hold your bat up high as a batter should.
There is zero chance of that happening.
Well, I've got video evidence to prove it that you did it with a great deal of confidence.
I did it in the cave.
I just noticed you holding the bat out to the crowd, but I didn't see a crowd. Anyway,
it was to the teammates on the home balcony. That's what I was waiting.
Oh, sorry.
Congratulations! We're so proud of you. Was it everything that you had imagined and dreamt of? How was the feeling?
It was just, I mean, it's great. Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky. Obviously, as a member, I've been to Lords a few times, and I've been in the long room a few times, and I've been in the change rooms once. So it's just great. It's it's really difficult to say, really, to put into perspective. I guess it's just I was pleased to get. I would have been quite happy to sort of nick one through fourth slip for 1 to get off the mark. To be fair, not flip 1 for 2 over square leg for 6, as Norman said. So. But yeah.
Well, so technically, the scoreboard will actually show it as 49, actually, because of that.
Well, I would have taken 49 as well. So we'll humour you, and I'll be having stern words of Graveney if he dares to show his face.
Oh. Amazing.
Anyway, we had fun with David, didn't we? David.
Yeah.
And actually, there's another great.
Side. He's a fellow Barmy Army Pom, isn't it? On my team.
Do you realise that David Graveney let us know this little secret yesterday? When Princess Diana passed away, he was at the funeral because he had a relationship with her and the family, quite incredibly. And he was sitting right next to Elton John when he played that Candle in the Wind song at the funeral. And I've actually attached a link in the community page of the link to that particular video, the live shot. And there is David sitting right next to Elton John as he plays the song.
Are you serious? I
I'm
have
serious.
to watch it to believe
I'm
it.
serious. Masters, he mentioned that yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He did say.
Yeah, well, I found the video, and it's amazing. There he is sitting there. God, we've got an amazing network of people. Seriously, I mean, we really have. It's just I'm so proud of us all. And look, guys, I'm not going to take this away from anything. I missed you two, Chris and Pretty. You guys have become a mainstay of this, and there are people out there that have absolutely bashed me with where are they? Why aren't they here? We've missed her. We've missed him. It's been incredible, and a testament to you both. I mean, it really is great to have you on the show, and I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to butter you up. The reality is, it's true. It is true. I'm proud that we've with Tabas. Let's not forget. The reason why I'm here, where we're all here, is because of this man below me, Tabas. He has created this whole thing. He gave me an opportunity sometime through the early part of the season about this whole thing. This wouldn't have happened had Tabas not done that, and it's allowed me then to bring Chris and then Pretty onto the show. Not that you don't have your own careers, you do, but we would not be all here together unless it was because of Tabasha's. And you guys have become family. Aparna's the same way as well. She's busy doing things at the moment as well. I expect that because we can't be on every day like I am. It's not possible. And our audience love this. Now, I don't know how we're ever going to not do this. I'm trying desperately to get more out of it for you guys and for myself, but I'm doing it as a labour of love. Tabasha's is as well. Don't worry, Tabasha and I have had little tips. Pretty, we've had our little tips. Chris, we've had a few tips too, especially on a cricket field because I'm obviously better than him. And yes, I'm bloody jealous. Of course, I'm bloody jealous. My fangs were coming out. I want to play at Lords.
Jealousy poisons the mind, remember.
Exactly. Jealousy's a curse. Yes, it is. I'm not worried that we haven't talked about this game yet because, quite frankly, this game was a little bit disappointing. I found this whole. I'm going to go on record as saying I'm very disappointed with the way the last two games have gone in the IPL. I know it's very early on. I understand all of that, but there's some very scratchy-head things going on at the moment. There's been some implosions of batting sides. There's been conjecture about why that's happening. Top-order batsmen failing regularly in all teams is almost hard to comprehend. But I think we'll talk more about that. Official Sai has just joined us. Gareth Banker, our regulars, are here. A lot of people are coming on now because they probably expect us to be here in half an hour's time. Mm-hmm. That's all right.
It's because they've heard me and Preeti here. That's why they're coming on.
Exactly. I tweeted them. I said I'm going to be on. I have a surprise for you. And they said yes.
Sai actually makes a comment because I commented on this. I noticed this the other day that Punjab Kings have literally copied RCB's kit. I don't know what you guys think, but I was watching the other day and I was like, that's literally, apart from the black on the shirt, they've literally copied RCB's home strip. And I guess when they play each other, I hope RCB don't play in that horrible green kit that they had, vile, and I'm an RCB fan. And that green thing that they turned out in last year or the year before was just horrible. So I hope they don't wear that. But interesting decision.
No, I think they will be wearing it once. I think they will be wearing it once because that's a eco-friendly kind of an initiative that they normally have. I think once in a season they will be wearing their green jersey.
Eco-friendly?
At least get a pretty color.
With the amount of pollution around a ground in India, I'm joking. The reality, there is a lot of pollution around there. Okay. I'm still excited. I'm very excited. It feels like we haven't seen each other. There's a guy called War and Peace who he puts this nasty comment every time, but he's still here, so I love him. He puts nasty comments, but he's always here. He's always here, so he can't be bored of the show. All right. I haven't seen both Barnstead Boy. Barnstead Boy was on our show last night at this time, Chris, but he's not here now. What's going on there?
He's probably cooking dinner or something. He's probably be somewhere, I'm sure. Munchie's on. We like Munchie. Munchie, Devasis will be pleased. Munchie supports that awful team from West London as well, so they'll be best friends if they ever meet.
Oh.
Devasis, Munchie's a Chelsea fan as well, so.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they're all.
Now, this is a comment that I did not want to bring up, but I'm going to bring it up. The Punjab collapse was fishy. I mean,
I don't think so.
This is a very
Fishy
touchy
in what
subject.
respect, Milan? What do you mean fishy?
What are you saying?
Sebastian, should we go into these topics? Is it something we should do you think?
No, I'm not going to go into this topic.
Okay, well then I won't either then.
I think there's a time and place for that. It's a very serious topic, but today is not the place.
Okay, all right. This is a fair point.
The one thing I would say about that, before we touch on that, the one thing I would say on, because I think I understand what the point is, it's very difficult to influence a game batting because it's quite hard to. It's much easier in the field. So to say that Punjab were fishy, it's really difficult because you don't know Ravi Jadeja is going to direct hit. You don't know that Chahar's going to bowl you a ridiculously good ball to Agarwal.
Right.
You don't know Jadeja is going to take a catch at backward point, a leading edge. It's a lot easier, if we're talking about match fixing, to do it because you can bowl a no ball. You can bowl
Or a no
wide,
ball
whereas batting,
wide.
batting is literally impossible because you don't know where the bowlers are going to bowl it in the first place. So, I don't think that was the case. I think it was just good, decent bowling and not great batting.
Or batting.
No, the reality is I've never bowled a no ball in my life because I don't want to run an extra step. For God's sake, I want to minimise.
Oh, you're 12 mile an hour, Norman.
12 mile an hour. So, when we talk about jealousy, if that's not jealous of good bowling, I don't know what is. All right. How did you take your 2 wickets, by the way, Chris? I
don't need to talk about that. I don't need to talk about how I took my 2 wickets.
I want to know. Were they?
Well, it turned into a 2020 game because of the rain. My first wicket was caught long on, and my second wicket was caught mid off. So.
Oh, that's tremendous bowling, isn't it? Okay.
Right, it says 2 from the book, Norman. That's what matters, isn't it?
No, here we go. All right. We're saying such poor batting, I lost interest in the match. That's the concern. When batting is poor, the level of interest in the match does wane, doesn't it? I think we like to see good batting. I think we talked about it earlier on Extra Time, didn't we, Devasis, and Chris, about that topic. The reality is that high scores, or at least good batting, is part of the game. We don't see it often enough. This is another thought. And I'm interested about this. Bravo and Dhoni hiding for the batting. What's our thoughts? What do you think? That's a fair question?
I just don't think Dwayne Bravo is good enough anymore. You know, I think he's a good option, and he only bowled 2 overs. He's not like, I know that they save him for the death, but I just don't think he's a quality IPL overseas. If you look at other squads, the sides that are going to win the comp, Mumbai's, the RCBs, the Delhi. You know, Delhi left Norkie on the bench yesterday. You know, RCB are leaving. Look at the overseas. They've got Mumbai not picking. You know, Sunrisers. Kane Williamson's not playing. Jason Roy's not playing. You know, I just look at the Chennai squad and it just looks a bit thin with real high quality overseas, and maybe that's why Dwayne Bravo keeps playing. Do you think Dwayne Bravo would play for Mumbai or RCB or Sunrisers if he was in their squad? Not at all. So he's a great character. He's got a lot of experience and he clearly still bowls well, but I just don't think he's quite at that level with the bat anymore. Maybe why they've packed the side of batting, Chennai.
I don't think anybody's hiding. I just feel like there were better players to go up the order to get it done, which Sam Curran did and Moeen Ali did, right? I mean, the game was over. Should have been over even earlier, but that's what a good captain does. You know, he doesn't always promote himself up. He promotes the right player. And I think Dhoni's, excellence in captaincy and things like that. So they won at the end. So I think they were all good choices.
It is true, you're spot on, actually. It is a sign of his good captaincy, putting players that perhaps are more suited to going on. And the reality is he's won the game. What more can you do?
Yeah.
It's very, very true. Tobias, were you going to say something as well?
Yeah, I would say that Jason Berendorf and Ngidi were still quarantining, so they may be that, but we may soon see a change. If there's if the Dwayne Bravo has to go out, then I think there's always a case for Imran Tahir,
Yes.
because Chennai will be traveling to Delhi next. So I think there's always a case for Imran Tahir to get into the side. But then talking about Dwayne Bravo, he's past his prime. I have to accept. You have to accept it. Means he is no more the all-rounder he used to be. Means when CSK were the champions last 2018, because and the same applies to some big names in that Chennai Super Kings lineup. But it was a very, very nice move, I would say, from Dhoni to send in Moeen Ali at number 3, because he anchored the innings very well today, and both the innings he looks very calm and composed, and also taking on the attack. So that augurs well for CSK. But I am a little disappointed with Ruturaj Gaikwad. He had a
Yes.
great this season, last season, but so far it's been disappointing. But it's good to see that Fab du Plessis also playing a responsible knock today. He was willing to put a price on his wicket, and he stayed till the end, taking the team home.
And
So
I
these are
think
the
some other teams need to take note of that, actually. You're very right.
Do you think that Faf tried to put a price on his wicket? Or I watched it. It looked like he was really struggling. And I think that Moeen helped him, because Moeen came out batting really well. And it just meant that Faf could have a net, basically. He knew if he didn't get out, they'll win the game. It just looked like he was really struggling with the pace of the wicket. You know, he hit a couple of fours. He hit a really nice scoop, but he didn't look all. He looked a bit out of sorts. And then again, a knock like that would do his confidence well to good. And so that would be good. I think CSK will be pleased that he's had time in the middle for sure.
But given the collapses we have noticed in last 3 matches, is obviously you needed someone to stay out there in the middle, which was the case with Faf, because you need someone to give us support to Moeen Ali, which Faf did. Obviously, he did not look at his best, which he normally is, but then at least he was there till the end.
Look, there's one thing for sure, and I've maintained, and I've said this all the way along, we've got to have a top order 3 that actually fire. 1, if not more, the batters have to be there at the end, having scored a big 80, 90 plus score. That's what is lacking in this competition generally. I think Punt is a capable player to do that. Samson did it in an earlier match, but he actually lost the match, which is amazing. But I think we need to see more of that. For example, RCB need Kohli, De Villiers or Maxwell to be there at the end and to score big is essential to their winning. And that's where they're probably going to do very well. I've got a feeling I still maintain Delhi Capitals as the team I'm expecting to win, but RCB are certainly showing their wares more than any other. We know about Mumbai Indians for sure. All right, guys.
But it's interesting when you say about top 3 tactics and how different sides approach it. Punjab Kings, for example, all their runs are going to come from their top 4. Pretty much the whole game plan is Rahul, Agarwal, Gale, and Pooran. They need to score their runs. RCB basically sending someone in at 3 in. It was Shabazz Ahmed, wasn't it? Panical and Kohli would go well. But RCB basically is saying we're going to set an innings up so that Maxwell and De Villiers can come in the second half and go bananas. Whereas other sides, Delhi is similar. Delhi set up that their top 3 are going to score, their top 4 are going to score their runs. Whereas it looks like RCB are happy not to bat De Villiers at 3 and send the guy in who probably just to give it a whack. And if he comes off, great. If he doesn't, Glenn Maxwell's coming in. So it's interesting to see. Chennai, for example, they've literally got 10 batters. Shardul to cause bat end today. So they're literally going to say we're just going to go for it the whole innings, and at some point someone's going to come off. So it's interesting to see how different sides are approaching their batting in different ways. And you said a top 3 that scores runs. Well, I'd argue that RCB are actually saying, well, we want to set it up for Maxwell, De Villiers, and Dan Christian to come in at 4, 5, 6 and finish it and score a lot of our runs there, aren't they? So
no, it is intriguing how there are different tactics being employed. But what one do you think is the best? What one's going to work? having a top-heavy side or having some finishes there?
I would
I think it depends
argue
on.
that we need good finishes in this format, Norman.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need good finishes because the big hits, you need some big hits towards the end, and guys who can finish the game, because that is very essential in this format.
Well, in particular, when you're chasing down a score of 200 plus, you certainly need good finishes. But I still maintain one of the top three have to be there towards the end. I think that is an essential part of a strong victory and to set a platform. And I think that's where we're going to have to see more of that happening. Strong finishes, I agree, but you need some upper order dominance. And Dawood Malan is one of the batters that does that quite regularly. Don't you think, Chris? It's one of the failures of not having him playing.
Yeah, I think that I said on extra time that I think that Gale is a luxury. You know, he's great to have there when Rahul and Agarwal are scoring lots of runs. If they're failing, because Gale isn't going to consistently score you runs, he's going to, in a 15-game IPL season, he'll probably get 2 or 3 50s and then get 100 or 40 balls. Like, he's going to come off once or twice. Whereas you need, and if Rahul and Agarwal are consistently scoring runs and like they have done the last couple of years, so there might be pressures. I look at their side and it just looks really weirdly out of balance. You've got the 2 Aussies in there who are just basically trying to bowl thunderbolts with not a lot else. And on these Indian wickets, they're a bit slower and harder to score against the medium paces. It looks like it's easiest to bat when with the extra pace on the ball. Moeen Ali certainly showed that today, you know, driving on the up and everything. So I think they're trying to work out what their best side is. I was trying to look at the squads. Is there a way that you can take Riley Meredith out, have Dawood Malan in and bring an Indian bowler in? You know, they only had 5 bowlers today, but is there a young Indian guy there that can come in and then maybe bat? You know, could you open with Gale, bat Malan at 3, Agarwal at 4? You know, they might want to try and play around with their batting and bring an Indian bowler in, because I think that Dawood Malan has to offer something in that side. And if they keep collapsing, then he will do. Hence why they've gone with Gale. You know, if they keep collapsing early on, then Malan will have to come in. There'll be massive pressures, I'm sure. Press, fans will want to see him in.
What a batting lineup that you've just mentioned. Rahul, Gale, Malan, and then Agarwal. That's a potent batting lineup. Don't you think, Chris? I think you got hit the nail on the head. I think there are a lot of very good Indian bowlers in the domestic league, aren't there, Devashes? Especially and the northern.
Arshdeep Singh is someone who has done well for Punjab last season, and if you look at that bowling lineup, I think there's definitely a case for Chris Jordan to be in that lineup, and because both playing both Meredith and Jai Richardson, it's a kind of a it's similar kind of a attack. But I would rather say that you pick someone like Chris Jordan, who is no mark with the bat, and also he's a decent bowler. Do you agree with me, Chris?
Yeah, I do. Norman mentioned earlier we talked about Chris Morris, and I think the reason some of these guys are going for phenomenal money, but the reason Chris Morris stands out is for the reason he showed yesterday. He got 36 off 18 balls and won the game. You know, he's there to take wickets, but he whacks it as well. And I don't see Riley Meredith. I know Jai Richardson can bat a little bit, but the reason these guys are going for so much, the good ones go for so much, and to a certain extent, Kyle Jamieson as well. He has not scored any big runs, but in the last game, I think him and Maxwell put 30 on and he got 16 or 18 off 10 balls, which, you know, at number 8 or 9, that they're game-changing cameos. And it seems to me that the Morris, and I was chatting with Preeti about it, that I've always been a little bit underwhelmed by Chris Morris in the IPL. Like, I think that he's always done okay without setting the world alight. But I get why he's so valued, because he's a bowler that, but on his day, will win you a game with a bat. And I don't see Riley Meredith doing that. So if he's not bowling well or the extra pace is coming off, I don't see him being a value in that side. But I mean, it's tough. You know, he's never played in India. he's quite green in the face still in his career, so he'll work it out quite quickly. And the best players do. If not, they don't play. So
look, I think this is a great conversation. Honestly, the depth of knowledge between us, and definitely Pretty, you're amongst it, because your Twitter comments lately have been fantastic. You've been very on point. I'm very impressed. We've got a very good bunch here, Chris, and Devastas and Pretty. We have. And I mean, having been on Extra Time recently, hosting a show with Chris on today, and you've got some great senior journalists, the way we talk here, it matches them. I'm very impressed. I think there's a lot of depth to what we talk about. And you know what the best thing is? We've got a great rapport. I think we've lived this fight for a number of tournaments already, and I think it's wonderful. And I'm going to digress for a moment. I have to laugh at this. Please take it right, Pretty. There's a guy called Lucifer, which is known to be like a devil's name, isn't it?
Oh, we've heard of him before, right? He's not the first one. What does he have to say now?
But he made a comment, because you've got something behind you, which has created two horns.
Oh, do I look like him? I guess.
You've got two horns. It's funny. You look beautiful, by the way. Don't be silly. It's of no concern. But I thought it was funny how he saw the position.
Tell him that he's maybe looking into a mirror or something like that.
It's hilarious. Chris, I'm going to say this lovingly. I do love you in a man sort of way. Okay.
Lovely.
Do you love me?
You can join one of my fan clubs, Norman, if you like. I don't mind.
Oh no!
I mean the ones with the Russian bots.
Let's remember. I've actually done a bit of homework. Chris claimed that because of COVID-19 there was no crowd allowed. I heard the gates were swung wide open and they were throwing money at people. I go, no, can't be bothered. No, I'm joking. No. All right. Devastas, how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay?
Absolutely. What's wrong with me?
Nothing's wrong with you. I'm being caring, for God's sake.
Okay.
Devastas and I have been doing the midnight hour several days in a row now. It's something that both you and Pretty and Chris have also done. But some of us haven't been to Virgin Islands and the Bahamas and wherever you've been to severely. Actually, we'll make an aside now. Pretty, I want an update on your trip.
Okay, there's usually a schedule. I mean, let's see. Before COVID, I would be going to 20 countries every year for work and pleasure. It's a lot of travel. And during COVID, it was a lot less, but it was still. I still got to travel the last year, which is good.
But now I'm talking about what you just did now to the Virgin Islands. You've got to give us an update on that. Tell us.
Well, I still managed to do 2 episodes while I was there, so that's commitment.
I know. Amazing commitment. But you went to Virgin Islands, you went to St. Thomas, correct?
Yes.
Where else did you go?
St. John and St. Croix. So there's 3 different islands, 3 big islands that make up. I mean, there's a lot of little ones too, but those are the 3 main ones. And there's a lot of beaches on each. Each is very different and known for different things. I mean, St. John is the party island. St. Thomas is the big commercial main, where the capital is. And St. Croix is really much more isolated. But there's all these secluded islands. Like there's one, it's called Hassel, and it's huge. Opposite St. Thomas, like you can see it from your hotel. And there's one person that lives on that island, one person. And he's a friend of mine. I happen to know him, and he's a healer. So he has a healing center on this one island, and this guy pretty much lives there by himself because his dad had been living there for many, many years. Obviously, the government is out to get him out, but they can't legally do anything. And he's got an amazing center. And I had an opportunity to, visit and get a healing and get whatever he does. I spent a whole day with him, so it's pretty life-changing, I must say.
So he's obviously not alone then, because if people visit him, he's never alone. He has people. Yeah.
Yes.
Is he American or is he?
German originally, But now, I mean,
German.
yeah, but living, family moved to those islands many years ago. I mean, they have Danish, they have Dutch, they've got French. They got it's such a cosmopolitan, not cosmopolitan. It's a very diverse, I think, group racially. The islands very mixed. Yeah.
Excellent. How interesting was that, Debasis? I found that intriguing.
Absolutely. She is very lucky and fortunate. I am not so fortunate, Norman.
Well, you got to make it happen. Where is the element of luck of taking having the courage and the trouble to plan a trip and just go?
That's what you said. Living life king size.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, Debasis, we're going to make that happen for you. You work so hard. You deserve all the financial and career success. You are amazing. You work your bottom off. You are incredible. You are superb, and I'm proud of you. And if I can help you any stage of my life, I will. I'm gonna. What size do you want? Do you want to? I'll get you the extra time hat. You guys produce them?
Yeah, we do. I will definitely, if I'm traveling to England, if I don't know if I would be able to, I would be definitely carrying few caps and t-shirts, extra time caps.
Was that a good effort?
Fantastic! I showed it to my entire office, and they were just got crazy. Oh, and they were all appreciative that you have taken this effort to make a cap and a t-shirt. It's normal. It's nothing. It's all passion about you. Means I would say that no one will ever go out and do a cap, get a extra time logo printed on a cap or a t-shirt. It's just sheer passion and the love for the game. It's honesty.
Look, and I need a better designer. This was pretty ordinary, but I had to start somewhere. I thought this labeling was pretty tacky, but it's a starting point. I would
suggest make it a bit smaller. Make it a bit smaller. The YouTube logo, make it a bit smaller.
It was my first effort, guys. Give me a break.
To be honest, I thought it
right.
Instead of
YouTube, I thought it was going to be like Norman's face and then eyes on cricket with Norman Kotchak.
No, my face is here. I don't need to put my face there if it's here. No, but I'm getting some designers in there. I've got a few people looking at. The reality is I'll find something. And look, this is half the fun of an evolution.
Yeah.
Pretty's platform is already going very well. Chris will probably have one in the due course. The Bastards will have one in due course. We need to grow together, collectively. Yes. I never want us four to be broken apart. I don't care what happens. Ultimately, we'll go in different directions in life, but I want to have a core where we can come back to. Wouldn't it be nice in 10 years' time, whatever we do, to come back like this? It'll be great. Don't you think?
Absolutely. And we all hope that very soon you just keep growing. Means that when we come back after 10 years, say, I for one would love to see your channel have that 1 million subscriber.
Oh, that'd be nice. Thank you very much. Munchie's can you explain this, Chris?
No.
Please ask Neela. She's a talented artist.
I mean, I don't know what he's referring to, so I can't comment, I'm afraid.
Or is he getting Pretty's name wrong? I don't know.
No, is it Nilakshi? Maybe is that who
maybe
it's
maybe she's Nilakshi. You're right. You're correct. We had a lovely girl on. Her name's Pretty, not Pretty. What's her name? What was her name again? Dipti. Dipti. Her name was Dipti, and she came on. Very cute. She's. It's nice to have people have a go, and I'm really impressed with that. You know, we miss a partner somewhat, but a partner's going to be here as well. So, he's asking Neela and asking you to do my design for my shirt. That's what Munchie's asking.
Oh, Neela, the blue is Neela in Neela is blue in Hindi.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
Oh, right. Now I get finally. Very clever, Munchie. Glad to have Munchie here. Official Sai is there somewhere as well. He's very active. There's a few that have been around. All of them say to me, "Where is Pretty? Where is Chris?"
I've been bombarded with private messages too.
Maybe it's time to form our own bat. You know, Form our own band, Preeti, you know.
Your own rock band. Absolutely.
Well, you know, set up shop.
Absolutely. Well, Pretty already has her platform.
No, yeah, it's bigger than yours, Norm.
I know that. I know I can't look as good as you.
Just Google me.
No, I mean, by no means do I ever think that I'm not as big as Pretty. I know that, but it's not about that. It's not about who's bigger.
You're certainly as big. You're certainly bigger than Preeti in some ways, Norman.
Literally.
Where's that delete button? Where's that delete button?
If Preeti wants a new nightie and a new dress to wear, then probably put your new shirt on. Probably you'd be big enough.
Look, there must be a problem with my Wi-Fi. I couldn't hear anything you just said then, Chris. The reality is...
I have a question for Devasis and Preeti on a Chennai player. What's the thoughts generally on Shardul Thakur? Because I've seen him bowl a few times now. He seems to have a golden arm, but he's also quite expensive. Like I've never seen... He tends to take wickets or he goes miles. You don't see him doing a Mohammad Shami today, you know, going at 20 runs off his 4 overs. What's the general... I appreciate I don't think he's good enough when India at full strength. I don't see him in the side. But what's the... Is he going to be playing every game for Chennai, or what's the general thoughts on him?
I think there's an air of confidence in the captains. They're talking about Kohli and Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Yeah.
Because I think in spite of going for runs, he invariably gets you those wickets.
Yes.
And the death over bowling, particularly in T20 format, it's not his bowling at the start, but it's death bowling because his knuckle ball, his slower Yorkers and slower bouncers, cutters, the variations that he has. I think that's the reason he's been persisted with. Obviously, he does go for a lot many more runs, which no one would want. But I think he invariably gives you those breakthroughs, crucial breakthroughs, and those variations that a captain would want from him.
Yeah, if the captain likes you, you'll always get a shot. We've seen this with Kohli and yes, Dhoni. Actually, all the good captains because they will take that risk, you know. And I think he's a rising star. You know, he'll get there. He's performed very well in other formats this season. I guess we've seen. So I think as the IPL goes along, we'll see him perform better. But I actually think that CSK has better bowling options and that they haven't used. So I think in the next game, I want to see them use Imran Tahir. I think he could be lethal. So yeah, I want to see a change, mix it up a little bit. And it's nice that they're playing around with the orders and all of that. But also, yeah, change the bowling attack as well. They have a great squad actually, a lot of experience. You have to find something that works because you got great talent. Just get that formula. I think nobody expected them to be number 2 after the first round. That's amazing. And to be quite honest, I thought they should have and they could have won the first game. That was theirs to lose, which they lost, which is very disappointing. But you know, they still have a shot at this, and I think there's only up to go from here. You know, they can only do better from here.
Shahrukh Khan, he batted. I thought he batted well. Some people are saying he didn't bat well. There's a comment about he struggled in the middle order. He struggled, but he got through when the rest of the team failed around him.
Wasn't he their highest scorer?
High score today, wasn't he?
If you think he's bad, what do you think of the rest?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Punjab wouldn't have crossed 100. Punjab
Yes,
wouldn't have
correct.
crossed 100 had he not scored those 47 runs. 47 runs, Punjab wouldn't have reached 100.
Incredible. I mean,
I think it was I think it's harsh for Garib to say that. I think that it was quite a difficult wicket to bat on. I mean, bowlers bowl well on it, but I don't think that any IPL bowling attack with the batting lineups that sides have are good enough to restrict a side to 110 if it wasn't tricky. And I think that, you know, Chahar going 4 for 13, he bowled brilliantly, but there was obviously a little bit in it. It was a bit sticky. I think Stephen Fleming came on and in an interview during the game and said it's clearly a bit tacky, a bit sticky. So with those wickets, it's even Faf du Plessis struggled, Gaikwad struggled. The only bloke that looked to have any sort of fluent, with his batting was Moeen Ali, and he had a bit of pace on the ball from Riley Meredith, and they didn't really have to force it, did they? Chennai, they could just time it. They knew what they had to get. They didn't have to go after it. So I think a bit harsh on, is it Shabak Khan? I think that he did a good job. I think it was his highest ever 2020 score. So fair play to him. Otherwise, it would have been embarrassment for Punjab today.
Chris, here's a question for you. Do you watch Indian movies?
I can't say that I've watched. I've seen snippets of some Bollywood movies, but I watched, and it probably, I'm sure Debasis and Preeti will tell me that it isn't a traditional Indian movie, but I obviously watched Slumdog Millionaire, which is obviously set in India.
Not
But
traditional.
That's not a traditional
Bollywood
Indian movie.
I think Sabal, as I said, is talking more traditional Bollywood movies. I can't say I've watched many, to be fair. I think do you think it's a cultural thing? Like, because I haven't grown up with it as the normal and seen a lot, it's not something that is shown on
Plenty
telly
of
much here.
foreigners
It's not
watch it.
something
Plenty of foreigners watch it. Even Americans. We have theaters here that show only, and you see a lot of foreigners who don't even speak Hindi who watch it and they love it. Not
I'm one.
necessarily
I go to
cultural,
Hindi.
but and Australia too. Melbourne and Sydney. But you just need to be exposed to it. It's not for everyone. There are plenty of Indians who don't watch it.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I think Bollywood has changed a lot in the golden age. The black and white movies were great. The 60s, 70s, 80s were amazing. And then something happened in the 2000s, and I haven't sat through a movie in a very, very long time because I don't like the plots. I don't like the dialogue. It's just not something I can relate to. A little too fantastical for me. So I like the older classics, and they were really amazing movies with great soundtracks and great performances.
Shanti was a good movie with Deepika Padukone and Shahrukh Khan. I like that. That was cute. All right, Chris needs to watch.
And did you, Norman, because we have traveled to India quite often, during your visit to India, did you ever watch an Indian movie?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
When I was in Mumbai, I went to the theatre there that was renowned for showing movies. I can't remember the name of it. I walked in a little bit late with my then wife. We walked in late, and the whole theatre stood up to the Indian national anthem before the actual movie.
Yes.
That was astounding. That was great. It was great. It was a great atmosphere. Incredible. We walked in thinking we were getting a standing ovation, but we knew and then we weren't. But it was amazing. I love it. To be really honest with you, having been married to a Sri Lankan for some about 14, 15 years, I went to countless movies, obviously Sinhalese movies as well, but we were often at the cinemas in Colombo going into Hindi movies and watching and enjoying them, and it was great. It was fantastic. Yeah, I don't think you realise how subcontinent I actually am. I am. I can speak Sinhalese pretty well. I tell you. All right. I love some of these fans have got some great thoughts. Hanuk D says South movies better than Bollywood. I don't know about that, but it was interesting. All right.
I reckon Hanuk D might be from the south of India by any chance.
Have
I
I
reckon
been
he
to
might be a southern. Kerala? That's in the southern. Yes. Is that the southern tip of India,
Yeah,
Kerala?
Exactly.
Southern
Yeah.
state.
See, I'm showing my knowledge of India here. I'm good at this.
They don't have a big movie industry, Kerala. Actually, where I come from, Hyderabad, Dibash, as you know, right? I mean, come on, Telugu movies, huge. Tollywood, right? It's almost bigger than Bollywood in many ways. And then you have
Absolutely.
Tamil movies, of course.
And look at the
Kannada.
budget. Look at the budget. Means
Yes.
they are even 4 times bigger than Bollywood.
They're bigger than Hollywood movies, some of these
They
budgets.
can easily compete with Hollywood movies.
And
When
they
it
make
comes
very,
to technology,
very
when it comes to
good money.
technology and look at
Special
their
effects,
production, special effects.
CGI
Yeah.
effects. Very, very,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
I find this lovely. What a great conversation. We're not talking cricket, but well, quite frankly, Indian culture is cricket slash the Bollywood scene slash the culture.
Yeah.
Look, and I know people think that I'm biased to India. I'm not. I just happen to love the place.
What's not to love? Indian culture is basically all we care about is cricket, Bollywood, politics, and I guess spirituality / religion. So yeah.
And how good is that? That's to me.
And
That's
food, of course. Of course,
food,
food.
of course.
Yeah.
So I had a little discussion earlier today with Shapali Wirakoti and about, I don't want to talk about women's IPL too much, but there's a lot of senior male player response to that. They're looking at making their an 8-team women's IPL. I'm ecstatic about that. What do you think, Devashis?
Yeah, that will be great for women's cricket in India to have an IPL with 8 teams. And just a few days back, we all know who was that cricketer? I'm just forgetting. KL Rahul, and who was the other guy? Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes
Ben
for one.
Stokes.
He wanted a IPL team, and he was backed by Sarah Taylor. He responded to his tweet by saying that it would be great to have an 8-team IPL. Means look at look at the WBBL. You have it in Australia. Means the players like
Sensational.
Harmanpreet Kaur, Smriti Mandhana, they go out there and play in the BBL. So, and it will be great for the game of cricket as far as women's cricket is concerned. And on this point, I would also like it's a good news to see the Indian women's team traveling to England to play a full series. They will be playing one test matches, I think 3 1 days some T20s matches. It will be a full series. So that is a huge boost for the Indian women's team because they literally didn't knew when they are going to play the next series.
I'm sorry, I can't understand why women's cricket don't have test cricket on a regular basis. There's no reason why they can't. They travel all over the world to play ODI and T20s. They go for several weeks on end. Why can't they fit a test match in amongst that?
I don't think it's down to. It's not down to they can't. It's down to the financial commercial appeal, isn't it? Like Test cricket struggles. Take India, England, and Australia out. Test cricket struggles in Sri Lanka. You get no crowds in a lot of parts of the world. And why would they sell women's cricket at a test match where, let's be honest, not many people are going to go and watch it when they can just do 5 2020s that they know are going to get good crowds in. So it's a financial commercial way more than, because of course they can play it and it's great. I like seeing the test cricket, but commercial viability is pretty much zero. Why play one test when you can play 5 2020s? Because it's going to be much more popular with the TV rights, with the fans, with the crowd. But I imagine it's just all financial.
Yeah, it's a business, right? It is bottom line at the end. You have to look at financial.
But please note this: women's cricket in the world is the most growing sport of all in terms of that format. Now, women increasing numbers in South America, parts of Africa, parts of Asia. It's growing exponentially. Now,
but
to help that grow,
play, not to watch. I know I'm picking bones here, but I even say they might be playing it participation-wise, but that doesn't mean they'll be watching it on the telly. If you know what I'm saying, like it is slightly different levels. Like the best thing that they did in England for some of the 2020 to grow interest, and we spoke about this before, was double-head it. Have the girls on before the guys, have 2 matches, sell tickets for the whole day. And all of a sudden, people have bought tickets for the guys' match at 5 o'clock. We'll turn up at 1, watch the girls play on the next wicket. We'll get on the beers. The TV's there anyway, so they'll show it. And it grew interest. You've got crowds there. So all of a sudden, it became financially viable to have the TV rights there because they were there anyway for the guys. And all of a sudden, 20,000 people going in because they just wanted a day out in the sun on the beers and watch some cricket, and it was a very clever move. And the problem
and also if you buy a ticket for the final, for the double header, you cannot come out and then go in.
Right. You have
You
to stay
cannot
for the
come.
whole thing.
You have to stay for the whole match, both the matches.
Yes.
So
So
suppose
you
a guy who
trap
walks
them.
into the stadium to watch the women's final, he cannot come out. He has to watch the both the matches.
But that was extremely clever. For example, the women's World Cup in Melbourne last year. Was it last year? Was last year, last March. I was there. 85,000 people.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was
85,000 people.
85 to.
But I had Katy Perry on, and they cleverly played her before the match and
Yes.
after the match. It doesn't matter. It was very clever.
You
And
have to say, you have to include fashion, beauty, entertainment, all of that. Come on, and if you want girls to come out, I think cricket is, especially Test cricket, is one of those few sports which is an all-day affair. You can come with your girlfriends or your guy friends, and you can make a day of it, and you can bring your wine and your food and whatnot, and just it's a beautiful social day out in the sun, especially whether that's Australia or India or anywhere, and they should be taking advantage of that and leveraging that aspect of cricket, for the women's game, which hasn't been done yet. You need some creative business people, I think, to come up with a better business proposal, to be honest, on tournaments and matches going forward. Make it very attractive for men and women.
well,
I
you're the
also think
person.
that the problem that the girls have, and I don't think it's the same in other sports necessarily, and it does happen in other sports, is that people who have grown up watching guys play
Yes.
don't. It's very difficult when you, and I would be the same, and we probably will be the same when you compare, when you're always comparing what watching a guy's
Yes.
game of cricket
You
is
cannot,
compared
the
to
level
girls.
is very
It just
different.
isn't. It isn't necessarily, and I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm not saying it's. I love watching all cricket, but it's to get people to watch both. All they're going to do is compare, and they bowl quicker in the men's game. They hit it further. It's a cricket game. It's so the problem that women's cricket have is because they're already comparing it to the guys, and so do they struggle? Do they have to try and find a niche?
I
Maybe
think
something like
get young
100 is.
people. I think find a new crowd altogether. Find a new niche. I guess
Yeah.
that's how
I,
marketing works, right? Get a new slice of the pie, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue this very strongly. I think there's a big future in bringing women's cricket to the fore. The Women's World Cup is a great example of it, getting 85,000 people, having an entertainment of the day. It went sensationally. I understand what you're saying, but if you're going to grow cricket, you need to grow women's cricket. And if that means persisting with a financial loss for a test match to get people to watch it or get people to play, then we've got to persist. We're going to lose money to make money. It may be a difficult wicket, but it should happen. Jabbar said your finger up earlier. What did you want to say?
No, I was just talking about Test cricket. The whole idea of popularizing Test cricket is that, as Pretty mentioned, is that to go out with your girlfriends and enjoy the time and just spend a few hours. But then that is why I think that you need to have I like the most about New Zealand, the venues in New Zealand, because the grass banks, you could actually spend more time there relaxing and watching, have fun. I saw a stadium, if I'm not wrong, in Centurion. You have a pool. You have an artificial swimming pool,
Hmm.
where on hot sunny days the fans can actually be on the pool and relax and watch the game of cricket, watch Test matches. So
Well, they've got that at the Gabba.
At
The
the
Gabba's got
GABA,
it.
right?
they also
Yeah.
have
They
that
have
at the
that at the
GABA.
GABA, yeah.
So these are small
And
things that.
Barbados as
Yeah,
well.
Barbados. Yeah. So I like because if you look at the bigger stadiums, it is more of a concrete structures. Means you just walk in and then you enjoy the match. Obviously, there means you talk about venues like Melbourne or a Sydney or a Eden Gardens. Means they are great stadiums. They have, but then the whole enjoyment is when you sit grounds like New Zealand, like Mount Maunganui. I'm talking
Hmm.
about means the grass banks all over, means that it's kind of a romanticism, means about the venue, means people go out there and just relax and enjoy the day, have fun. That is all what enjoyment is all about, watching test cricket.
look, I believe Test cricket's going through a renaissance because of what India's done in Australia early this year and what's happening in India now. Women's cricket in Australia is humongous. There are more women playing by the day. You have no idea. There are two clubs near me, Randwick and Eastern Suburbs, which is Waverley. They're both going to grow more once COVID stops. It's no end. People are the tournaments in Hong Kong, Singapore. And I'm not just saying this because I like women's cricket. It's happening. It's fact. Sheer figures say there are more women getting into cricket than men. If they're playing, not watching, that's still where we need to grow the ability to have that coverage. We need to have a women's 8-team IPL now. There should be, even though it might be a bit difficult at first, it might struggle, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can get players from Malaysia, like Winifred, who you've met pretty, captain of her country, can play. And then the rest of Malaysia will watch. And then Malaysia will get involved even more. That's such a pivotal move. Anyway, I could talk forever on that. I interviewed Shapali earlier today. She's coming out of a shell. She's going to come regularly on the show. I'm so happy for her because she's such a lovely lady. Isn't she pretty? She really is. She's a dead set sweetheart. So, Bas, just stop texting all your fans, would you please? No.
I don't have a fan like you,
Aw.
Norman.
Sebastian, you deserve everything you get. You are a champion. You really are. You're on my show as well as your own show. You've been working hard like I've done. And look at Chris. He's gallivanting around Lords playing cricket all day. How easy has he got it? Seriously. Yes, I'm jealous. Chris, come close
No,
to the screen.
I for one is
want to talk
jealous.
about
I'm proud of him. I'm proud
I
of
want
him.
all of this to come close to the screen. Come close to the screen. Come close. Chris.
Creepy.
I'm here,
come
Norman.
close.
I'm listening.
I want a private word. Okay. I think that a lot of good things are going to happen between us. And I am jealous of Chris. Yes. I was wanting to be at Lords. I would have done anything to play at Lords with him. I would have loved to have taken his wicket because he's just jealous. He's sincerely jealous because he knows I've played in the SCG and MCG, which is a far superior thing than a one-off at Lords. You're going to play more often at Lords. If he plays 10 matches, we'll talk. All right. Hardik Palmer says, playing cricket is not easy as much as you think, Norman. Well, I beg your pardon. What have I done wrong? What's wrong? What happened here? What was that about?
He doesn't believe that you actually play cricket.
Maybe he thinks you're more of a scorer or an umpire, Norman, or do the tees or something. T-man.
Oh.
Poor
No,
Norman.
hang on. This is the real comment. This is a man of great quality.
Oh, okay.
Sarvesh Ranashaya, what a great man.
Sarvesh, you need to take a long, hard look at yourself.
I think you're smoking something, Sarvesh.
Yeah.
Did you have too much bhang in Holi or something like that?
Maybe he
Different
meant to
stuff.
say Norman likes to eat a goat or something. I'm not sure. But thank you. Sarvesh, Rajan Kant, you're welcome anytime. In fact, we might get you as a co-host one day. If you say things like that, you should be a co-host. See, I always said the truth. I don't deny that everything new. The only thing I haven't told the truth is your name.
Yeah, with a name like Everything New, you think anybody's going to take you seriously?
Okay. All right. There we are. Now I like him even more. Look at he's just written that. There you go. Everything new, ha ha ha. Sabi bawa. Okay. Chris, I want your thoughts about the tournament, the IPL. Have you been disappointed so far, or have you think it's been good?
I've been disappointed in that there haven't been more runs scored, whether or not that's bad batting or difficult pitches to bat on or good bowling. We don't need to talk about that. Doesn't matter. I prefer IPL cricket, 180, 200 first innings of this chase. That's how I see IPL cricket, as lots of runs. If they don't score 180, it's because a bowler has performed ridiculously well. I don't like to see average bowling rewarded with 4-fers or 3-fers. I think that if you're going to, sorry, if a bowler takes 4 wickets, I think that he needs to have showcased his skills phenomenally. And I just think 2020 cricket's a better game with lots of runs being scored and 6s hit. So, yeah, that's what I'd say so far.
Are you okay, Chris? I think you've got a touch of Lord's.
I'm a bit under the weather. I'm a bit under the weather. I don't know if it's a bit hay fever or.
I think your allergies are playing up. If you come to LA, you trust me, your sinuses are gonna explode. You might be sensitive to pollen, you know.
All right, guys. Now, I'm going for the long haul, so because I've got another session later on today. I'm going to be going to the beach and meeting up with they call them the Palmy Army. So, Jabbar says, you haven't texted me. Are you okay? Because you have been here for over an hour. You can be excused any time because you've had a big day. I'm sure both Pretty and Chris had a big day too. Jabbar says, no problems if you want to leave. Please, You've been fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Norman. Thank you, Pretty. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Well, I'm going to head off too in a minute as well. It's 8:30 and I haven't eaten.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, that's late, isn't it? It's only 5:20. It's only 5:21 in the morning here.
It's the beginning of the day for me. I have a long day ahead.
All right,
we didn't talk about one thing. Dhoni's 200 caps. The only IPL player in history, the first one to do it, 199 as a captain.
Amazing.
Pretty spectacular.
Yeah,
it is. It really is.
Amazing.
I'll be honest with you. I think it's a great achievement. We can't knock that at all. I think. Look up, Chris. Look up. Look up. Look up. The reality is that Dhoni he's got to be called Mr. IPL. Let's be honest. He's pretty close to the most significant player throughout the 14 years history. Would you agree, Chris?
Yeah, I mean he's just an icon of probably Indian sport, isn't he? You know, I think that I don't know what in England it's different because England and Australia to a certain extent compete on a world stage in lots of sports, and I don't mean this in a disrespect to India, but India's main sport is cricket, and I'm assuming that I've not been to India. Someone asked a question that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is the number one sportsman in India, or Tendulkar was, or cricketers are the biggest stars. So I wouldn't say that Dhoni is Mr. IPL. I'd probably go further and say he's been Mr. India for the last sort of.
He's beyond IPL.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's seen more as probably an Indian superstar, not just the IPL superstar. So, he's won a World Cup as captain, and Kohli's going that way. But Kohli's only played 5 or 6 games or 10 games less than Dhoni. He's been around pretty much a similar time. So, I think Dhoni just has that slightly greater respect because he's done it as captain for India as well. I think if Kohli had captained India in the World Cup in 2012 and won or scored runs, then Kohli would probably be revered a bit more than Dhoni. But I think Dhoni has that slight edge because he's been that inspirational captain to a billion people. And I think that's why he's respected so much, and rightly so. So I think he is who he is more because of the captain he is than the player he is. Does that make some sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, I just want to say I disagreed that if Kohli had captained and got the World Cup for India, that he would have more respect than Dhoni. I don't think so. I think there's many other reasons why people love Dhoni. Not just because he's the only captain that had, held the championships in all 3 formats. It's the temperament. It's who he is as a human being and as an Indian citizen, and also his great support for the army, the military. All those things he's beyond. He's like a superhuman person. Like, he means so much to Indians. Kohli, great. There's people like him. You love or hate him, I think, but I think with Dhoni, it's more people just revere him for as much outside. as much off the pitch than on the pitch, and you don't always get that with athletes or celebrities. And there's only maybe Kapil Dev and Sachin Tendulkar who have had that kind of love. And I
Yeah.
think for a long time to come, you probably won't find anyone else.
Well, MS Dhoni single-handedly turned matches,
Yeah.
finished matches, and did very well in shorter format and somewhat to Test cricket. He transformed cricket in India. Sachin Tendulkar individually was brilliant. I don't know that he was necessarily the best team leader as such, and he would openly say that himself. But MS Dhoni certainly revolutionized everything. Obviously, Kohli's trying to take it to another level. He's doing a pretty good job, but Dhoni's the benchmark for them all. And I actually see Rishabh Pant, given some opportunities, may well be the same. We'll see. We'll see.
I just have to share, a few days ago, I had this opportunity to be interviewed by a very prominent political analyst and human rights advocate from Pakistan. And we spoke about diplomacy and India-Pakistan relations, Afghanistan, all of war, peace, all that wonderful stuff, all the very, very intense interview. And the one thing that we agreed on was that MS Dhoni was our favorite player. So, I mean, and he's like, we love him in Pakistan, he's huge there. So he's one of those rare players that I think bridges countries and beyond borders. So I just thought that, and I didn't know that about him before I went on the interview with him. It sort of just organically, we spoke about cricket where we spoke about IPL at the end. And he just started talking about Dhoni out of nowhere. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. It was a very beautiful moment.
I actually saw that. I actually watched that interview.
It's great, right? It's
I think
very informative.
You shocked
you
me.
You saw me in my geopolitical expert mode.
I mean, when I say it shocked me, it didn't shock me. It more impressed me, is the right word. Milan's asking about Akshar Patel is not taking any further part in the IPL, replaced by domestic. It's been all around. We get some great updates from people. That's almost breaking news, actually, because he was out, and now Akshar Patel had COVID, didn't he, Chris?
Didn't know that.
And for him to be out for the tournament means that COVID's taken some effect, which is quite scary. You know what? On the extra time show the Barsters has, he's had several people on air that have had COVID, that are sitting at home, that are senior journalists who have had COVID. There's one particular guy. He was he's a media manager for the ICC, and he was a great man, but he had COVID. I don't think we're real. I mean, America's bad as well, and England's bad, but I think India is particularly bad. I think India's reached another level of bad. I think their level of COVID is really spreading like wildfire.
That's just down to, that's just probably down to population size and population density in the cities, as much as anything. I don't know for sure, but, why has New Zealand done so well? Well, people in this country have been comparing New Zealand to England. Well, New Zealand's the same size country and they've got 4 million people. We've got 75 million people. So naturally, there's more people here closer together. So, of course, it's going to be different. So and trying to compare England.
I'm sorry, I really disagree with all of this. For a country of a population of 1.4 billion to have 150,000 fatalities, are you kidding me? Do you know what the percentage is?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Relatively,
they've actually done incredibly well.
Okay,
yeah, they had flattened the curve. A very, very long time ago. There's one state, Maharashtra, that is, because of its governance, which is, by the way, not the central government. It's opposition party in power. Awful governance that they have in that state. That particular state is out of control, not just with COVID, but other things too. But you have to look at the recovery rates, and then you have to look at the fatalities, which is again very, very almost 99% recovery rate, and the fatalities are very small. Also, I was talking to a senior editor of a news channel the other day, and he told me that this outbreak that we're seeing, this so-called second wave, it's not COVID. It's a mutant virus. It's another virus that came apparently from the UK or something like that. It's not COVID that, it's been almost a year and a half. You can't have a second wave of the same virus. It's a mutant thing that came from overseas. I don't know how the hell it came. Why did you allow travelers from the UK when you knew that, like, during Christmas, New Year's, I knew that they had an outbreak there. I know that Dubai had, not opened their, I mean, they had not closed their doors, and they had all these planefuls of people coming from the UK, and then their own cases had risen, whereas they had done very well up until then. So you have to be very careful with disinformation out there and loosely saying second wave and things like that, when actually I think the reality is that it's a mutant virus, came from somewhere else, and they're trying to deal with it.
No, it's extremely good points. I think we generalise too much. We attach something too much. I agree with that. I probably not. I don't mean to say India is bad for just a flippant reason. I'm just talking generally about.
Yeah.
It's more of a situation where Australia is just. I can't believe it. I can walk around now in Sydney and do damn well anything. I can have a party of 100 at my house. I can have events anywhere. We're getting in taxis, Ubers, buses, trains, no masks, anywhere. There are nightclubs opening up. There are queues at the front. Everybody's squished together. They're coughing, and if a person's wearing a mask now, we're looking at them funny again, like we did probably 3 years ago. Sydney is so bizarre at the moment. It is too normal.
Yeah,
we've had
and LA is pretty normal too. This is the epicenter of COVID in the world, and but our government lies about everything. They fudge all the numbers. Nobody trusts them at all. You don't, first it was surging, and then after the election, immediately apparently there was no COVID. They just opened everything up, so we don't really trust them at all. And every week it's a different policy. They open, close. We don't know, are we going in or are we going out?
See, I think you bring up something relevant here about Donald Trump. Now, look, I don't want to go into political discussion with Donald Trump. I think he was bashed towards the end. He did some very stupid things, yes, but he was bashed. It was an orchestration to get rid of him. Let's be honest, and it worked.
Ask anybody who covered elections, and I know a lot of investigative journalists who did some serious coverage of the entire election process, and some of the things that they found were horrific. They were shocked, and these people were progressive before, their progressive end of the Democratic Party, and after all of this, now they're independent. They can't trust this party with everything that has come up because nothing was kosher. So. A lot of lies. I think the American people have been seriously lied to.
Biden's quite dangerous, I think, despite this calm persona.
Yeah.
I think he's even more, just because he doesn't say stupid things like
he's also 80 and losing the marbles a little bit. So
Chris, I know we're breaking topic a little bit, but could I just I need to hear more about Lords, because I don't think you're telling us everything. I want to hear more. I want you to quickly tell when you took almost 2 hours to get there in the morning. Your dad was saying,
"Yeah,
is that right?" Your dad stayed
home as well. Pardon?
Why didn't you get a chauffeur to take you, Chris? That would have been amazing.
No, I was happy to drive up. We couldn't start. I nearly just got on the train. To be fair, probably should have done in hindsight, but no, I mean, I don't know what there is else to say really. Just was a great day. So,
were you excited? How excited were you?
Yeah, it was exciting. It was more, I don't know. Of course I was excited. I wasn't expecting to open, although I'm an opening bat. I thought I might be in the middle order, so I was pretty chuffed when I was asked to open. So I was just happy to get off the mark, really. I know I did it in slightly more glamorous fashion than I would have expected to. But no, I'm just pleased to get some runs, really. It's always nice, isn't it? Something I can look back on in a few years' time. I mean, hopefully I'll play there again at some point, but it probably won't be for a few years for sure. So, but yeah, just a good day.
Okay, tell me how it came about. I mean, what did you put a bid in, or how does it happen?
Yeah.
How does MCD work out who plays?
So generally they have
players.
X amount of games there per year, then you just apply for them and they pick a side. Often it's done on ability and who's played at Lords before. Like, they're never going to pick 3 guys there to play in a row, if that makes sense. So they try and share it around as best they can. Yes.
So you put an application in to get there. Is that what you?
Yeah, effectively. Yeah, you apply for the game. So.
And how did you find out?
I just got an email saying that congratulations, you've been selected to take part in this game about a week ago. So yeah, I don't know what else to say really. It was just a great day and really lucky really. Yeah.
Was it nervous? Did you have a sleepless night the night before?
Not really. I guess there was no crowd there, and it wasn't although it wasn't going to sound. It wasn't like a league game, or like it was just obviously everyone's in the same boat. You know, it wasn't a competitive fixture. Like I think 8 of us on my team, it was our first day as well, so we were all kind of in the same boat, and it's just exciting to. Yeah, it was just. Of course, I was excited, but yeah, I was kind of more nervous about missing my alarm or not getting there in time more than missing the day rather than playing. I think when you get there and you chuck your whites on and you go out, you're like, oh, I'm here now. Like, let's just enjoy it. I don't have to worry about getting stuck in traffic or my alarm not going off.
You're going to be late for your own game.
Yeah, and then we had a temperature test when we went into Lords for COVID. So that was obviously a worry. Like you sat there, oh, please, I've driven 2 hours in traffic. I'm up at 6.
You find out you have COVID.
Exactly. Last thing you want to do is get told that your temperature's too high. So that was pleasing.
So
did anyone celebrate after the game? I know it was obviously prematurely ended, but
we weren't allowed. Like, I think normally there's a pub next to the ground, or normally that you can go to the bar for a drink, but because of the pandemic, it literally can't do anything really. So, which is a bit.
Did anyone famous play that? Not when I say famous, any notable cricketers except for yourself?
I think a few guys who played a bit. No international cricketers. There was no Norman Kochnak there, for example.
Don't laugh. Jonathan Norman, did he play?
No, I don't think so. I sent you the scorecard earlier. Let me have a look.
Did you?
I got an email.
When did you send it?
On WhatsApp. Only because I got an email, so I sent it over, Jonathan Norman.
Oh, that's it. There, I got it now. What's some of the names?
No, Jonathan Norman.
Gums.
Yeah.
Barber, Morgan, Smollett, Sidon, Gerald, Parker, Mutitz, A. Reed, Dick. What sort of name is that?
What? Are you making these names up?
I'm not making it up. I'm reading out what the damn cards say.
Okay. Some of them sounded a little vulgar.
So Smale was our keeper. He played at Sydney Cricket Club. He said he played there because he knows.
I know. I actually know him. I know him. I met him.
Keeper.
I actually know him.
Mm-hmm.
He was. I actually played a game with him. He was with me. He was talking about his performances. I actually played a game with him. We played. I think it was at Des Moines Oval together.
Possibly. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Smile. I know. He's actually a good player. Actually, he was a keeper, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to head off in a minute if that's okay. I'm pretty
of course,
tired.
there's Chris. Putty, do you want to continue? I want to continue.
Yeah, sure. I'll continue.
Okay, great. All right, Chris. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you very much.
I'm not really proud of your haircut, but that's another thing.
It looks much better than it did. Trust me, it's much smarter than it was. That's for sure. So much more respectful.
You weren't allowed to bring anyone at all into the ground.
No one at all.
That is dumb. Seriously, just one person.
I guess. Yeah, because of COVID restrictions, I guess if you want to play, then this is what you have to abide by. It's government restrictions. So even tomorrow, last Saturday, we played outside, and the government and ECB guidelines are no one is supposed to come and watch, even outside. Not even in the pavilion. No one is technically allowed to come and watch you play because of they're trying to encourage people to play sport for their physical and mental well-being, but no one can come and watch technically. So, but that's changing slowly. So, for the best.
All right, Chris. When are you available to come on again?
Sunday night potentially.
Sunday
I'll
night.
just
Okay.
play it by ear, but yeah, it's a double header Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. And I want the same for you, Pretty, if you're available. But when we get closer to the end, okay, over the time, they're the big ones I want you to be available because they're going to be really big. I'm going to bring Adam and Monty on again. There's quite a few people. David Gravening's keen as mustard. Simon will probably be on. We'll have some big ones towards the end in particular. And Pretty, I've got Chris that's on Extra Time now, which has got a really big following. You know that I'm hosting a show there. We're going to get you on there as well. They have to get. They've got to go through some protocols, which I don't understand about certain things, and they've got certain conditions. They're very strict, and why they're very strict because they've got a big platform and they go through. I'm very fortunate. I've been given an opportunity, which is very big. We had guys like Brad Hogg. Brad Hogg and I've now been together. We're going to get you on a show for that, Pretty, as well, and potentially Chris on my platform with Brad Hogg. Okay, that's going to happen hopefully in the near future. He's been watching. You know, they all
He's
watch.
amazing. His analysis is something else. I
He's
watch his
special.
show. I comment sometimes.
Well, Jared Kimber as well. So have you actually spoken to Brad?
No, I always say, hi, Hoggy, you're amazing, whatever. No, we've never been introduced.
Right.
You must
Well,
do that.
he knows about you because he said my
great.
platform. So Brad Hogg, who else was there? There's a whole host. Jared Kimber, who's not got his own platform, which is great. They're all going to come. They're all friends of mine. So but there's a whole host of Indian journalists that I'm meeting one after the other. They've got incredible power in it, obviously. They're heads of editors of Hindustan Times, of this paper, that paper. It's an amazing platform. Chris, like the guy today, Amit, who we met today, huge in India. And they don't normally come on television. They normally do the sheer writing side of things. So anyway, we'll get them on. So Chris, thanks a lot. You can go anytime you want to.
Thank you.
Any parting words you want to say?
Yeah, we've actually got our first main pre-season. So we've got 3 pre-season games for our first league game. And we're playing at a club called Leeds and Broomfield tomorrow, who are a couple of divisions below us. But it's actually in the grounds of Leeds Castle. I don't know if you've heard of Leeds Castle or
yes.
I've got a link to their website and it pans out and you can see the castle in the background. So I'll try and take some pictures. But it's quite a cool setting.
Can't you something to do a vlog of you?
My dad might be coming to watch tomorrow, so if he does, I'll see if he can
take this rightly. It's not about my platform or anything like that. It's about, this is a great thing for people to see. People will adore seeing you getting into your car, having a chat, putting your bags in there.
To be honest, Norman, I'm, and it was the same as yesterday. Like I would have done it, but I'm pretty chilled out. Like yesterday for me, it was I was happy just to.
No, I understand that.
And Saturday mornings, I roll out of bed half asleep, have something to eat, and then go off to play cricket. You know,
you don't realize how much fun that is for people to see.
Yeah, I know it's just too much stress for me to worry about. I'll try and do some, but all of our games this season in the league are live streamed on the internet. So if people really wanted to watch me get out for a duck and in Ben Stokes style against Axel Patel, then that they can watch it on the internet, and I'll make sure that you get the link. But I'll be honest, I'm not all about doing a vlog in the morning when I get up. You know, I don't.
Fair enough. I'm not okay. But
I don't look great at the best of times. So.
But what about with your Seven Oaks Vine? We could have one little discussion with your teammates live. Can't we do that once?
We'll try and sort something out. I'll try and sort something out. Yeah, for sure.
Please.
We'll see what I can do.
Please, I like all that stuff.
We've got 5.5 months of the season, and there's obviously John Bowden who's been in the comments. JP Bowden, obviously, so he'll be in my team tomorrow. So I'll see what I can do.
Because it's not about me getting publicity for my channel. No, it's about, I love that stuff. I do things which I'm passionate about. I really enjoy that. I think it's a lot of fun. I really do. All right, Chris, we'll let you go. Ashok Datani says, great. He's one that's been complaining to me bitterly about you guys not. Anand Ingles the same as Chris. They're all there. They all complain bitterly about me not getting on there. I copped it like I was stopping you or something. And I thought,
Yeah,
no, I'm not stopping.
Norman banned me. He said, he said after my haircut, I wasn't allowed to come on because of all the phone calls. So yeah, apologies for that, Norman. Norman, you need to show me what the bottom of your cricket coaster says.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I'll get that out. Hang on.
So, Preeti, Norman made a prediction, with his crystal ball about how many runs I'd get, and he supposedly wrote
let's
it.
see. I want to see how close or.
Yeah.
Look at this. A cricket ball.
The fact that he hasn't mentioned it, made a point of mentioning it, means that he might not be massively close, because otherwise.
Okay.
I
Do you
reckon
see
he's
the name on there? Pretty.
Something.
You know who that is? That's Sir Donald Bradman's signature.
Okay. Beautiful.
Okay. And on the back, the reveal. This is what I predicted Chris's score to be.
Other way. 37.
Oh, that's not a good score.
What do you mean? It's not very good. I was pretty close to 53.
No.
Did you get dropped on 37?
I didn't get dropped at all, I don't think. I got bowled off a free hit, but obviously that's different, doesn't count. So
hang on, bowl off a free hit, that does count. That's a poor shot.
No, he bowled a good ball, to be fair, and I was trying to hit it into next week. So
how many fours did you hit?
It's on the scorecard.
Okay.
5 4s and 2 6s.
Wow. Good.
So yeah.
Okay.
It was good.
I'm going to try and all right.
Anyway,
I'll have a look at it.
Love you and leave you guys.
Right.
It's been a pleasure, but I need some bed. I've
We'll
got
see you
a game
Sunday.
tomorrow, Norman. If I'm going to be vlogging, I need to be sharp. In fact, what I might do, I'm actually going to a cricket bat factory in the morning. I need a new grip on my bat. He supplies bats to India. He grows his own wood, and so I might see. I was wearing a cap, Helfer Leather, it's called, and it's about 10 minutes away. So I might see if he is happy to maybe do a little video and show you around his factory.
Please.
I'll see. It's up to him, and it depends if he's happy. But I'll try my best.
Can I ask one thing? Make your camera this way, not that way. Because your videos were great from the game, but they were that way. Make sure that the person takes it that way.
Fine.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do, and if we can get a little questions in, I'll try my best.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, guys.
And one last question. I want to know your strike rate and average. Everyone's asking questions now because you're going. All right. What's your career strike rate and average?
No idea. I have no idea.
People want to know how good, you've been very good. So anyway.
I do have a quick info page, or I did. Not a big one, but I played a little bit for the Kent stuff. So
have you?
I think I did. I don't know if it's still there because it's been a few years, but I certainly won't be blowing my own trumpet. It's I think everyone thinks I'm slightly better than I am, but there we go.
No, it's not blowing your own trumpet. It's just if you've got something, I never even bothered to check that.
Anyway, pleasure as always. We'll chat soon.
All right, thanks, Chris. It's been great to have you here today.
See you later.
Thank you. We're all very proud of you, Chris. Yeah. Good luck for tomorrow's game.
And RCB.
We'll see about that.
We'll see you later.
All right,
see you.
Chris.
Ciao. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Geez, he's a what's the word for it? Very humble guy, or mucks around with it. But playing at Lords, yes. I'm sorry. That is. I don't care what level of cricket we're talking about. I've had the privilege of doing it, okay, and I was very honoured to be able to do that and been involved with that sort of situation with SCG and MCG. But I'll tell you what, to go on there, open the batting and score 53. Admittedly, the pitch was way over to one side, but it doesn't matter. It's a fantastic effort. I'm very proud of him, and it's great to have him on the show. And and you'll follow. I'm surprised why you said you were going to do it. You're going to start posting some of the videos that you're involved on your channel. You haven't done that yet, have you?
No, I will do that. I am back now, so I shall do that. And while you're talking, let me get my charger. My phone is down to 5%, so I'm just going to go off for 1 second, and I'll plug in my charger.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, guys, it's great. Well, the Masters, how did you see Punjab's batting today? Well, the Masters is not here, but we all were disappointed with Punjab's batting, and I think there was a lot to be said about that, and there's a lot of concerns as to what's going on. I'd hate to think there was anything untoward going on. as Chris Vernon said, it's very unlikely that any batting efforts are at all manufactured or planned. That's not the case. Norman and Pretty are best friends. We're good friends, of course we are. When I copped Sean, Tate, and Akar, myself, fetched great speed, my bowling 8 years back. Wow, fantastic. Now, that was Christian. There's a question that comes up a lot, Pretty, about Babar Azam from Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's now ranked the number one ODI or I think it's T20 batter in the world.
Yes.
He's gone ahead of Kohli. Now, you would argue that's pretty hard to imagine that Kohli's still not the best. But statistically, Babar Azam certainly is at the moment. He's plays very well. They beat South Africa today again, and there are certainly a lot to be said about him. What do you know of Babar Azam, and what do you think of him, if you know about him?
Me, look, I've been following him for a few years. I know in the Champions League when India played Pakistan in the UK, right, that huge final, he was a sort of part of that tournament. Yeah, we keep hearing about these amazing Pakistani players. There's several of them.
Yes.
And Indian fans are respectful. We appreciate great performances, regardless of where they're from. So we have enormous respect for Pakistani bowlers and batsmen who continue to play well, break records, and so on. I think a lot of Indian fans know about Babar Azam, and they only have positive things. And he has a lot of fans in India. But it's good to see him, as a best T20 player, considering, there's all these other names that we've sort of been following, right, because of the England versus India series, considering they're the two top T20, I guess, countries in the world, and Pakistan is not, a top three or anything like that. But it's interesting that a player from, I guess, a lower ranked team has individually done so well and outperformed everyone else.
Exactly. Shakib Al Hussein's the best, or has been the best all-rounder, and he comes from Bangladesh. Yeah. With Babar Azam, I met him and Ashraf Ali. I know Ashraf Ali pretty well. He's often come to Sydney. Manu and Kamal Khan, we'd get together for dinners. But I met both Babar Azam and Ashraf Ali in England 2 years ago at a bat factory, an amazing place called Keeley's. They make bats, and actually all the best bats in the world come from Keeley's. They re-sticker it with other brands, but the very top level bats are actually grown in this loosely around trees around this person's estate. They're both drinkers. They're eccentric.
Where is Keeley's? Keeley's is in Australia.
No. This is in England.
Oh, England. Okay, got it.
It's a family. They were a part of Gray Nichols, the famous batting company. And they were professional bat makers, and they knew all about bats. They decided to plant their own trees and grow their own thing, which was quite out there, really out there. And they make the best quality bats. And the international players all run to this place. There's no signs out the front. It's just this big barnyard, this huge room, and they make the bats. The trees are literally in the backyard there, loosely all over the place, but they know what they're doing. And the bats, it's called Keeley, and it's a secret place to go to. We went there, and Babar Azam turns up, Azhar Ali, every international cricketer just rocks up there, gets bats. Spartan, for example, who I know very well through Kunal Sharma, the Chris Gale bats all came out of this bloke's place, okay? And they put their stickers on it and rename it. They make the best bats in the world. And I don't mean that loosely. They are the best bats in the world. All the best players, they don't care who they're sponsored by. They get the physical piece of wood from there. Anyone can put a sticker on a bat, right?
Yeah.
That's irrelevant. Quite frankly, if you really want my honest opinion, it's quite stupid.
It's private labeling too, because you never know where the original came from. Anybody can pay to put their label on. It happens all the time in product marketing and branding,
Exactly. Like some with clothing in some cases, it actually happens too. The reality is the best bats come from this place, full stop. He has an array of bats which goes a million miles long of players that have played and used the bats from there, and for whatever reason brought it back to be fixed or whatever. They are all there, and it's literally everyone who's who's a top shelf player. They might put any old sticker on. I mean, I have most of the girls that I manage, they get crap bats from a certain company. I won't mention in Australia. Absolute rubbish. It's just
Do they
absolute
bat
rubbish.
with lighter bats?
Not necessarily. It depends who the player is. They bat with heavy bats, but we went to a certain place in Sydney. I'm not going to mention it. Absolute crap quality bats. The bats are rubbish. Absolute, but they sponsor. Okay, they're absolute rubbish bats. What the girls do is they get the bats. They chuck the bats out. They get the bats which they like, which are I get them from certain locations, wherever they're brilliant wood. They put the sticker of the company on their bats, which is embarrassing when you think about it. That I don't see. I think the figure is 90% of the bats, the actual true willow, is made by one or two companies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then you get the little ones like this one, is Keeley's, who's the best. They're eccentric drinkers. They're drunkards. The guys are absolute, like Mick Jagger, like space.
I gotta go there. Where is it? Is it how far away from London is this place?
About an hour, I think, something like that. But
is it near Sussex, that area, or?
Oh, look, I don't know exactly. I can't. I know how to get there, but I don't know how to describe it.
It's kind of in the countryside somewhere.
Yeah, it's basically you turn up, you've got no idea. You've got absolutely no idea there's anything going on there. All right, it just looks like a big barn, cars everywhere, like lots of things lying around. It's quite a weird place. There's two brothers. I think there's two brothers, and there's a third guy. They're just geniuses. When they get a piece of wood, they know what they even couldn't be bothered with anyone else's trees. They grow their own trees. It's
cricket
hilarious.
trees. I love it.
It's willow trees. So they have there's something in the soil. They know what they're doing. They've got this knack. You can't read. So they go in there and they don't care what sticker you put on. Quite frankly, they just get you the best piece of wood, and they just do a great job with it. And it's an art form. It's like a jeweler putting some jewels together. Each player walks and they go, oh my God. And the guys are eccentric as hell, and they're a lot of fun. And they're not open to the public. There's no, as I said, there's no advertising saying, here we go. They're very downplayed, but they don't need to advertise. People know how good the quality is. So yeah, stickers are a complete joke. I'm disillusioned with stickers. Any company that you can imagine, you could name. You hear Gray Nichols, all these traditional companies, but they generally have a lion's share of the best. What they do is have the best wood.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more than the best wood.
Yeah.
They label it whatever way they do it. I'm actually so ticked off with a number of batting companies that garbage on about how good they are, and their bats are absolute crap. You can't hit the ball 2 foot with them. They break on you. There's all sorts of rubbish. Literally, the girls get the bats. They throw the bats out. They put the stickers on their own bats and pretend that they're using that person's bat.
Wow,
because
that's interesting.
I know factually. I know. I don't lie. I don't care.
And they have to, because sponsors, and we all need sponsors, right?
Yes, but the bats themselves are crap. The only company that made really good bats, who got a lot of bats from Keeley's, was Spartan. Spartan had the best quality bats, gloves, state of the art, everything.
Wow.
Kunal Sharma's a legend. He's loved by so many cricketers. He had issues with the company. We won't go into it, but the actual quality of the products, throw everything else away. That's the best quality bat. And I don't care about the name on it. Michael Clark, when Spartan got a hold of Michael Clark batted, he scored 300 runs on the SCG with a bat with no stickers, nothing on it, no stickers. Right? The bat was great quality.
Love it.
If we get a chance, we'll not do a tour of Keelers. They're very low key. They don't want publicity. They're not into any of that. They're not really even. They make bats because they love it, and they do it so well. And they got disillusioned with the name. They're just it's a lost art. When they die, unless there's someone in their family takes on that, it's gone.
Wonderful.
It's an amazing. Keeley's, Keeley. Is a key. There's an S on the end. It is just You know, they do brand their bats too, but they don't care. It's not what they want to do. But it's a great company, and it's in England. It's just the best. It's like going to Cuba and getting a Cuban cigar. You can't get anyone else but from Cuba. You have to go there. It's like that. Now, Debash has talked about extra time with me, but we can do things with a lot of people. I'm getting contact with a lot of people now that I have always had, but more so spreading now. And I think it'll be great for you to do more work with Pretty, because you're well loved. Your knowledge is there's no even Debash is saying he's a very strong critic. I've tried to bring a couple other girls on. One girl, I won't go into it. They're not going to it. But the fact is that you're up there with. You just need to get in the right situation if you want to do that. I'm not sure what else you're doing. What else are you doing with your time? You're recovering from your holiday, or what are you doing at the moment? What are you doing? What are you doing at the moment?
Oh no, busy as always. However, I work for myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm my own boss, which means I make my own hours, and I can, for projects, for shows, and I do these kind of round the clock. I make time for them, and I schedule them quite well. But I'd love to do something with them. And you're right, it's the right episode with the right co-host, the right topic, right situation. I'll shine, and I'll bring all the knowledge and wisdom, and I look forward to that. So looking forward to that for sure in the near future.
Thank you. Krishna Mohan saying, why isn't the WACA, which is the Western Australian Cricket Association, hosting test matches? Two reasons. One, they blocked everybody off through COVID because of the COVID restrictions. Two, there's been some issues with the WACA itself does not have test matches anymore. They've gone to that other Optus Stadium, which is a big stadium. I don't think it's the best place to play cricket. I agree with what I think what Tabasha said about getting grounds where they have your true cricket grounds, not making them coliseums, and having a pool. And Barbados, Kensington Oval, they have a swimming pool there. It's just...
I can't wait to go there. Are you planning to go to the Caribbean this year?
Well, it's all about COVID. It's all about
they're
COVID.
open. They're open for business.
No, but I've got to get there. I've got to get there.
I guess we can get there from the U.S. citizens can get there pretty easily, no issues.
You've got a fairly short one or two flights.
It's not short. It's let's see. You have to go to Miami, which is about 6 hours, and then is it 3 hours? It's 9 hours.
No, okay. It's not short, but it's a lot shorter.
But it's not 20 hours. It's not on the other side of the world for you.
20?
Yeah.
Try 36. You know that.
Because you go the other way.
There's no direct flight. You've got to stop.
I get you.
There's a truckload of stops.
You go to Hawaii and then, probably.
All sorts of stops. So, no. But I've got lots of plans. I mean, I don't think you saw that. You may not have seen it, but I had a 2-hour episode where we started doing things normally. And then Merv joined with Ronan Matthew.
Merv told me about it, who wrote the book about his brother and himself. Yes. Amazing, right?
Did you see what we talked about?
No, just Mervyn just told me about Ronan, and I have to. He looked like a very interesting character. Yeah.
He's amazing. Well, the episode was a few nights ago, but it was just tacked onto the second hour. I didn't make it a separate show. I wanted to, but it just didn't work out that way. But we talked for an hour about the whole Viv experience when he was a kid, and we've had that conversation already about that. So it was excellent, and it went really, really well, and that was great. But yeah, I mean, I want to go to Antigua. I want to go to Barbados again. And I mean, this year, if I could, I would. I want to go to. We know we want to go to. If we went to the IPL now, we would have wasted our time.
Well, because so you mean the T20 World Cup, are there going to be crowds? Maybe.
Okay. One step at a time. The IPL, there are absolutely no crowds, no media.
That's right.
So if we would have gone there, we would have gone nowhere near the grounds. So not that it was a waste of time, but it would have been difficult. The World Cup, you would have to argue, we'll try for that. But I'm not hearing anything at the moment, but there's every chance that could be changed. If there's there's a COVID increased level of problems around the venues, that's in danger.
Yeah.
It has to be. It's not about things being bad in India. I don't mean that. It's around the world, but I'm a bit fearful that may be called off. There's been fears that the IPL was going to be called off. They're persisting with it at the moment, but we're lucky that that's going on. I'm quite shocked that is, because no one's allowed to go anywhere. Tabasha was planning on going to England. The way he's talked the last few days, I think that's not happening.
Are you go? Is the World Test Championship is still happening? The final
At the moment, it's June 18th. Yes, but if you can't get into the venue, no one. If that's what happens, it's going to be diabolical.
There won't be crowd for that final. I think they've decided.
Almost. It hasn't. I'm not sure it's been officially announced, but extremely unlikely.
Yeah.
And media, extremely unlikely. And I hate to say this, but what they should have done was have it all in Australia.
Yes.
Because
at least the World Test Championship, that would have been good.
Well, in all fairness, New Zealand are one of the two teams. They could have had it down here.
Right. They could have had it in New Zealand, actually.
Exactly.
But they wouldn't do that. That would give too much home advantage to them. But Australia is a neutral ground for both,
And you're free with all the problems. You still have COVID restrictions, but actually you don't really. I mean, they'll probably be forced to have a bubble when they arrive, the 2-week quarantine. But other than that, they'll be free. So they're mad not to be playing that down here. Even the World Cup, which is being played in India this year, was actually meant to be in Australia last year.
Wow. Interesting.
So if they don't have it this year, it's then postponed and will be happening in Australia. So, if they were sensible, they'd be doing that. Not because I wanted to be in Australia, it's nothing to do with it. But the fact is that it would be more accessible. So really, it doesn't look like Tabasha. Tabasha was supposed to go to Goa this week because there's some soccer thing going on there. He wasn't allowed to go. And it's a true risk. He's worried about his health. I mean, as he should be. And I'd be surprised if he goes to England at all. And the World Cup, well, it's going to be until they say they're going to have media in there. Well, there's no point in us going.
Well, you just have to. You'd go to a pub and have a big party watching. You'll have a watch party.
But more importantly, you can also do it by the way we're doing it now on this. We're actually fortunate because it bizarrely falls into the lap of what we're doing. Here I am hosting Tabasha's show when he's got a truckload of senior analysts at his doorstep. I'm quite privileged to be the one hosting. Let's be honest. I mean, I had Nikhil Naz, who's one of the head ESPN hosts.
Yeah.
Okay, he's great. I had him along with Deep Dasgupta. I was quite honoured to be the host of those two. And I mean, that's some great things there. I'm very privileged at the moment. But me going in physical. So I want you to be more involved on the show. I know it's a matter of your availability, but I'm going to try and get you into those programs as well. There's a bit of a process, and Tabasha doesn't talk about it. I probably shouldn't be talking about it so openly, but Chris is there because they were planning on using him in England. But that's because they may not physically be able to get anyone else. So that's what Chris is all about. It puts Chris on a huge platform, I tell you. He's just jumped after me just casually saying, "You want to be on mine" many months ago. It's all happened. I mean, you already got a large following.
But I need to. I can go. The limit is it's endless, and I really will now that I'm back and stuff. And guys, I'm putting out content, both my normal topics, all of that, as well as cricket. I'm going to start a new section, and I'm going to really create content for my channel and push that too. There's no reason why
your channel's growing, not because of me. I know that, but the fact that you've been doing this, your numbers have been going up as well, haven't they?
Yes, absolutely. People are finding out about my other work, and which is quite different. But now I want to incorporate basically cricket and politics, and I think I'm going to start a new segment, and I will do content creation for that, and probably IPL related things too. So yeah, it's all very exciting.
When's that going to start?
Well, I think my I've had a brand agency create actually some posters for that particular segment. So I have a range now, and I just need to pick the right one. Just tricky because they all look good, but it's just a matter of getting interesting content, because I think I have a very unique take on all of this, and nobody else is doing this. You can't fake it, because you need to know what you're talking about when you start going into things like politics and all of that, especially the geopolitics, right? So But those are two of the most at least from an Indian perspective, the two things that Indians cannot agree on are cricket and politics. So very, very heated, and I think to combine them is quite a great formula. It's just a matter of getting, right interviews, right content, and all of that good stuff.
Well, I mean, with my growing platform, not just me, but being on Extra Time in that way, that's pretty big. And I'm very impressed with that. And it's got close to 750,000 subscribers, and they've got some very heavy guests coming on there as well. So it's all going to happen. All right. Is there anything you wanted to talk about specifically? Because it's very late. I'm happy to. I'm in a mood to talk all night. But is there anything you would like to talk about?
No, I'm just. Isn't it? I think like you watched the my interview. Isn't that fascinating? That how cricket is such a bridge between countries, between borders, and
well, Imran Khan, he could talk to it. I mean, obviously, he was a Pakistani cricket legend, and a great man, I think. And he's the person everybody loves. Inzamam Ul Haq is well loved in India. He does business.
Yep.
I told you I met him in Amritsar with Harbhajan Singh, and they're doing business together. Incredible people. Mm-hmm. They are really great statuses, and they're actually decent people. They're actually really decent people, and they know when they can talk about cricket. Everything else is forgotten about. And I'm a little bit sad. I know it's not going to happen, but I would love to see the PSL and IPL become the one. I would love that to be the case. I'd love to see more games of players because they're missing out, aren't they? And I think I know it's a political agenda.
Yeah, because that's the cost that their country has to pay. And the only way that you can get some of these things to stop is to, I guess, from our perspective, to hit them where it hurts, which includes Pakistani cricket, and trade. Because I think when you start talking about, terrorism, defense, all of military things, it's a game. It doesn't mean anything. You have lives at stake. And I think with what the dynamic that these two countries have, it's a one-way thing. I think that's why India has been very, they've had great restraint, I think, for decades until recently they realized this can't go on. It's not okay to have this happen on the one hand and then just allow a free flow of artists and actors and singers. I just don't think you can mix those things. And I think the government of the day took a very, very firm, tough decision, which 99% of Indian citizens would actually support, which is interesting.
True. You know what I've got to do? I've got to edit something while I'm talking because I was meant to have a program at 7 a.m. It's not happening now, so I have to just put it ahead. Otherwise, people start setting up for that. Let's quickly change it.
Do you know Brad Hogg well from Australia? I'm sure from Australia. Is he from Sydney? I mean, where does he live?
No, he's in Perth.
Perfect.
We're going to do something. I haven't. The details aren't settled yet. But we're looking at a few things there. We had him on Debash's show the other day, and we mucked around about New South Wales and WA because they played a state domestic one day international time, which New South Wales won, and we were mucking around about that. But look, he's a one-man band with his program. It doesn't look like he brings people as guests onto his show, but he's more than happy to come this way. He's a great guy. He's such a lovely person. He's so easygoing. I mean, Alan Mullally, actually, Alan's gone very quiet. I don't know what's happened. He's gone, but has he spoken to you? No.
No, but you should engage him because I think he's a world of knowledge and such an interesting character, right? A lot of stories, and I think audience appreciates hearing from him.
Well, Al and I were planning on going to the Punjab region with a bowling clinic later on this year, but it's all about whether we can. I mean, I can't. He wants to get me, vaccinated and ready to go, but there's two things. One, we can't enter at the moment because we can't get back. But I think it's the other thing, which is around my mother and her, her situation. So
how is she, by the way? Is she a little?
She's stable. She's stable. She's okay, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean she's getting better. She's just stable, which is great. But I can't leave her here if something goes wrong. So that's my other dilemma at the moment. But I will go, but it has to be in the right circumstances. person's asked me, Damien Martin, what is he doing these days? Well, Damien Martin, last time I saw him, I was caught in a lift with him for an hour and a half. So, no, he's a little bit quiet. He's got a few. I think he's got some radio programs he's involved with. But then a lot of the people are very quiet because what can they do?
That's
There's
right.
They can't travel. Lisa Stalake, I don't know how she's doing it. She's physically in India. In fact, she's camped herself there for 6 months. She hasn't come back. And Simon Cash, who I know very well, is coaching RCB. Very understanding. He's a lovely guy. I've had a lot to do with him, and if he was more available, he would come on the show regularly as well. He's a very good friend. I talked to him and spoken to Alan Border, and there's quite a few. But look, I'm letting them go for the moment because we can't, like yourself and Chris, you can't do it every week. It's very hard, and they need their breaks. And I'm learning not to push them. And you know what? I'm not saying we don't need them, but when a Chris and yourself are getting great followings, you don't necessarily need to bring in big names like Buria's show. Was throwing all these big names at it, which is good, but it becomes too much, and they become almost bland, or they become lost in the process. You're best making it features, and I prefer to grow people who are very knowledgeable and do it that way. I mean, that's probably why I'm doing what I'm doing in a way. There's a person that's claiming to be Chris Vernon. Yeah, it's not Chris, obviously. It's so funny. I had a bot happen on my Instagram. I suddenly had 10,000 more people, and then the next day the 10,000 were gone. So somebody, it was a bot. They call it a bot. It's this. Actually, I think it's someone I actually know because he said he does it to his accounts, and I think he went into my account and threw all these bots in there. I mean, not most. There are lots of accounts out there that have bots. You know about that. There's one that's a very famous one that has millions and millions of bots, and they have millions of so-called views. And what it cleverly does is they're all fake. The views are fake, and the people on are fake. But we're all attracted to it because we see the millions, and we end up having a look at it, even for a minute. And that's what they want. Very, very dodgy. Very dodgy indeed. Will we see new team in the cricket arena anytime soon? I don't know who you're talking about there, but there'll be 2 teams in the IPL next year. In fact, next year is going to be a big year because you've got the full IPL auction, which means everybody's opened up.
Yes,
there'll be lots of changes. There'll be a complete, and hopefully by next year we can actually go. So this is a long term, pretty. All these contacts that we're creating, we may not be going there now, but I tell you what, if we head for India anytime in the future, if we continue these platforms, we're going to walk into a huge audience. The best example is there's a girl that does some car thing. I've forgotten her name now. She's a blonde girl, a supercar blonde, I think it is. She just looks at good cars, right? That's all she does. She's an Aussie girl. She went to India and she was mobbed. They had millions of, not millions, but lots of people at the airport. They had entourages. They went crazy. They went, and all she is just a page that talks about cars.
Yeah, it's a pathology, I think, with the Indian mind. I actually don't think it's very healthy because they just get obsessed with anything that's white. Or it's like you have to. We call it the decolonization of the Indian mind. I know it's great for the foreigner. It's not good from an Indian perspective because now you're seeking validation from back to. I mean, come on, 1947 is done. And I think with where India is at the moment on the world stage, the table has really turned. So there's no need to look for validation outside of yourself. You really need to know that you have it. And in fact, the world is looking to India, whether it's cricket diplomacy, vaccine diplomacy. I mean, India supplied vaccines to 120 countries, many for free to smaller, poor countries. Which sort of developing country does that? Right? Amazing, right? And it's so good that all these cricket players are thanking Prime Minister and the government for doing that. I think that's amazing that they acknowledge it. You're saving lives.
Absolutely. With people are asking, some new people have come on and said, well, they'll have 5 foreign players in each team if new teams introduce the IPL. They're not going to go down.
Yeah.
They're not going to go to 3, They may go up. It depends.
Maybe.
You should react Bollywood. You will get. Okay, I should react to a Bollywood film trailer. React to it. What does it get? Comments? Maybe. I'll tell you
Don't
what.
do that. You are going to cheapen your brand, Norman.
No. I mean, I'm still going out and talking to people on the streets. That's working really, really well.
That's as interesting. Yeah, that's so interesting. I should do something about. I should get the American.
But I asked you earlier about that. Remember, I asked you to do from almost the beginning. I asked you to do that.
That's right.
Yeah. There's only one that I put on yesterday, which hasn't gone that well because the people are pretty idiotic. And Sebastian said I shouldn't have posted it because they were a bit silly about Chris Gale, and it hasn't been successful. It hasn't been successful because people have talked a bit of rubbish. And I'm sorry, but I thought I'll still give it a go because the people I've spoken to, they have a right to be heard. Hasn't gone well, but that just shows how discerning the people are too. They're not just listening to people who are just talking rubbish. They're going to talk something worth listening to. So, did you see the one about Chris? Did you see that one? Did you like that?
The latest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very well edited. You are quite a master with the editing suite. That's for sure.
Well, but it's more about just getting some. I mean, they're not necessarily going to be big viewerships, but it's the fun of it. That's all.
I think it's great for him as well to have that as you know, he has a digital memory of. It's a collection. It's for his life. You know, he can always have this video or footage. 10, 15 years from now, he can always look back and say, "Oh, I remember that first time at Lord's," and all of that. Very special.
And the thing is, I don't think Chris is the sort of person who wants to go out and set up his own YouTube channel. That's not his go. Which suits us fine. He can be a part of mine and do things, and that's great. That's wonderful. And I'm glad that when you think of how we started, because he came on, he was like excited like all hell, and he's persisted, and it's worked. Raj Burma said, "You're a good patriotic girl. I like your perspective." Sunil
Thank you, Raj. Thank you. I try. If you check out my political things, I think you'll hear from me. And guys, remember, I'm on national TV on India almost very, very often. Sometimes, I mean, during the elections, I was there almost every evening, prime time, covering the U.S.-India relations. But you can find me on. I do all the channels, so just look out for me. I'm usually there talking about various things, whether it's yoga or Afghanistan or what's happening out here in the US, you know.
Absolutely. Nathan Bracken, who's played for Australia, is entering politics. Nathan Bracken's a good-looking, tall, blonde guy.
Nathan Bracken, the bowler.
Yes.
Yes.
I know him very well. I remember sharing some time with him. He's a great guy. He's a very down-to-earth guy. So was some of the Australian, I hate to say it, previous generation blokes are always good. I mean, not that Nathan's that old, but they're more approachable. The current mob, you have to be, I don't know. Glenn Maxwell's pretty good. He knows Adam Collins pretty well. He's pretty cool. There's a few that are very good. Alan Border's fantastic. Amazing guy. I love him to death. He's such an easy boy to get along with. You know, Jeff, Len, you've seen all those guys. They're all up in the Gold Coast at the moment doing a show, like a little, you know, roving road show about themselves. It's really cute. They're really nice. Okay. We're looking at some of the questions here. Sunil Dutta's pretty. I'm going to check your video.
Please do. Just Google me and also go to the Pretty Experience.
On a lighter note, have you featured on Republic TV?
Yes, I have. I have. During the elections, I have done Republic among all the other channels. Republic is the #1 channel in India. Huge viewership, and the anchor is the #1 anchor, I think, probably in the world if you look at numbers.
Really?
Quite the experience.
What? So I don't know much about Republic TV. What is that? Is it?
It's a new channel that started because we have India Today, we have NDTV, we have DD. Yeah, so these are all English. And then of the Hindi channels, that's a different game. So we've had these English channels for a long time. They've had, they have a certain perspective, but I think Republic came on. It's more newer, and it came on board recently because they wanted to give another perspective, because mainstream media around the world is very agenda driven, and it's very one way. Let's say it happens here even in the US. CNN, MSNBC, they're all very similar. So then you need a Fox to just show another perspective. And I think in India, we needed that other perspective, which we didn't have for a long time. And now we have Republic. But what happened with Republic was they shot up, they overtook the other channels, and they're very, very young, and their anchors are great. I mean, you have people that criticize them too, but it is another perspective. And I think the beautiful thing about Indian press is it is free and fair, and it is truly independent. You can find news sources from everywhere, and there is a channel that will have a perspective that is similar to yours if you're looking for it. So that's good.
I'm trying to work out this. I'm afraid I'm unaware what they're talking about here. Can the ICC take a call on trisseries?
Tri-series. So
Oh my God!
maybe
Sorry.
he's talking
Oh my
about.
God! I didn't even see that word. I just saw.
Yeah,
trisseries.
tri.
I'm thinking about a trisseries. I know what a tri-series is. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. They need to, because they were very invaluable. Isn't it funny how I'm looking at this word trisseries, thinking, what's trisseries?
You
Not really.
didn't have the.
No, I
dash.
didn't even begin to think that was two words. But maybe I'm getting it wrong. Yeah, the tri-series are pretty hard, because at the moment it comes down to the COVID-19 situation stopped a lot of that happening. We started to go to South Africa, for God's sake. In fact, they're playing New South Wales versus Queensland up in Allan Border Field, which is in Queensland, of course. And that's a big match, because all the New South Wales players are Australian players, and Queensland, like Labuschagne, and my young friend Jason Sanger, he was 20, he looked really, really good, played a silly shot. He had the opportunity to play in the state final. Had he excelled, it may have been a springboard back to the Australian side. And I'm a bit sad that he didn't. He's still got the second innings, but he looked fantastic. He's only 21, so he's not like he's past. He's only. I've known him since he was very young, and it's just it's hard to imagine him not being. He sounds like he's been around for years, but he's still only 21. He's got a long way in his career. He's going to play for Australia.
The best thing about this IPL for me is this has been the IPL where it's the young Indian domestic players that are taking center stage, and I love it. They are absolutely going pound for pound with the biggest international stars, taking them on, and everybody is just in awe. And I think this is fantastic, and that's the reason why IPL began in the first place. This was the outcome that they wanted, and now, 14 years later, they're having that outcome. So it's a huge success.
Well, the very fact that it's gone for 14 seasons, that's in itself is very hard to believe, because I didn't think that would happen. Not that it wouldn't last. It's just 14 years. That's a long time. And I can remember when it started. It seems like only yesterday. 14 years. And the money that's been generated, and the individual players. I mean, Shane Watson's worth tens of millions. Michael Clark is. Steve Smith is. Warner certainly is. Pat Cummins. He seems to be the one that's skyrocketing the quickest now. He bought that place up the road from me in Bronte.
Yeah.
Chesterfield Parade.
It's 10 million almost, right? And for I guess I don't want to call them racist, but for people who are a bit kind of who want to be critical, they have to thank India for making their favorite players rich and famous. So be very careful when you want to bash India for whatever political reason, or whether you just don't like the country or the culture for no good reason. And if you're a cricket lover and you happen to be from another cricket loving nation, just know that you need to really thank India for doing what it's done to the game, but especially for doing what it's done to your favorite players. And I think that realization hasn't sunk in, though. That's why we see what happened in Sydney during that test. That awful incident should never happen, but it did.
It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But it was a bunch of idiots, let's be honest.
Drunk
Realistically,
idiots. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, how can I put this? I tell you very often when I have bad comments written on YouTube, just ignore them. Don't give them air.
Yeah.
The fact that we gave it a lot of air in Australia, and India did too, probably worked in their favour. They probably continued doing it more because they knew they were getting an audience. Had we ignored it, had the player ignored it, it may have gone away. I'm not saying you should ignore it. You shouldn't ignore it. But had Siraj just ignored
Media.
it, if Siraj had ignored it, it would have been over.
That's right.
Now, is that a better result? No, it's not, because the person's not caught. But
That's right.
I think we need to learn to sometimes just ignore these people. Don't give them any airtime. There was all these protesters that came on the field one match. They were opposing the Adani mines. Okay.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
But you know what? The bad thing was they were Australians, and the media, they were a bunch of Indian guys or dark-skinned guys. The police ran on and accosted them. What the police did was they took their sweet time to get onto the ground. When they did, they didn't touch the guys. They continued to hold their placard all the way off the ground, advertising. There was no grabbing and stopping and arresting. There was just like they ushered them out of the ground, which told me they thought, oh, they're white guys, we're not going to bother with it. That was the impression that was given, which was disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite amazing. All right. Pretty, we've gone 2 hours and 21 minutes.
This is a long. It's been a good episode. It's a reunion episode for the three of us.
Absolutely, and the Bastards, of course, too. Yeah, but I think Chris has been great, and he's actually a very humble guy. I had to force him to get those videos out. So, all right, Pretty. Namaste to you. Thank you very much for your time. You've been fantastic. Please don't go. Let me know when you're available, and we can do this again.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Look forward to it. Amazing episode. Go CSK. So happy for Dhoni and all of his amazing milestones. One more feather in his cap, and what a wonderful tournament. So great for all your love and support, guys. I'm just so touched, bombarded by all the wonderful messages and so on. Please keep following us and watching both of our contents, all of our contents, and support, love, share, like, subscribe, the whole thing. Stay with us, hang on. This is an amazing journey that we're on. So please come with us on this journey, and wherever we end up going, just come with us. Yeah.
Certainly. Thank you again, Pretty. I love you to death. At the Pretty Effect.
Yes.
There's where you're going to go, or the Pretty Experience.
And the Pretty YouTube is the Pretty Experience, and Twitter is the Pretty Effect, and my Instagram is blowing up. I'm almost at 50K, 50,000 followers. Overnight, I got, gosh, I know I have so many thousands because I put some good content out. So Instagram is also the Pretty Effect or Pretty Upala, so please find me and
on Facebook,
just engage.
You're on Facebook too, aren't you?
Yeah, well, Facebook, I have an actual fan club, and one day I'm going to take a screenshot and post it on your community page and tell people this is what a real fan club looks like.
But you got Pretty with umlauts over your
yeah.
Yeah. Is that you? Is that you or a fan club?
Both have umlauts.
Right.
Yeah, the fan club is I have a public figure fan page, and then I have my personal account. Both are actually Pretty Upala.
But I sometimes put @ and I try to put your name on it, but it's not working. It's very hard to get the name to come up because the umlauts stuff it up for me.
On Facebook, if you type in Pretty Upala, you'll see like 10 different pages come up because I have had so many Facebook groups, pages, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll find, you might have to, maybe the second one usually comes up. It's the one which has a huge, humongous sort of
number of
people. So
I find it hard to somehow tag things with it. I don't know why. Maybe it's something.
I'm not very active on, I used to be very active on Facebook, but if you want to monetize anything, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube is the way to go. Facebook,
well, YouTube, do you monetize Instagram?
No, but in Instagram, the more followers you have, brands can come to you. They've come to me. They've said, can you promote this? We'll pay you, Facebook, it doesn't do that. I think Facebook.
No.
So I've stopped giving that much of effort and energy and time to Facebook, because it's nice to chit chat and put up pretty photos and nice videos, but you're not getting anything tangible out of it. Whereas with the other platforms, you do. So
Well, thanks.
I'm learning.
Facebook only brings traffic to others. That's the only good thing about Facebook.
Yes.
Bring traffic.
Yeah. So if I post one of my interviews or articles on my fan page, you got so many people there. You're just gonna get a lot of clicks, views, likes, all of that stuff. So it's good for that. But
YouTube's
other
been good. YouTube's probably the best, isn't it?
yes, I think you and I mean, how is your merchandise thing coming?
You can see I haven't actually. This is my start. I've had a few difficulties getting it sorted, but that's happening now. I'm trying to get cups and things like that. That's going pretty well, but we need events, and the IPL is one good one. But we need events where I can go to, and if they're by Australian summer, I'll be going crazy because I'm physically here. But we'll wait and see. All right. Thank you, Pretty. All the best. Namaste.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
Ciao, ciao.